In this age of bare survival, where clothing barely covers the body and hunger gnaws at every belly, other tribes are still eating raw meat and gnawing on wild grass. But I lead my tribe to drink fresh soup and eat roasted meat. We've even got fluffy rice and weapons that leap centuries ahead of their time. All because I brought advanced special forces knowledge back to this ancient era. In my previous life, I was an elite special forces operative, codenamed Kai. While chasing criminals along the border, I fell from a cliff. When I open my eyes again, I find several women wrapped in animal hides standing before me. But the sharp pain in my foot demands immediate attention. Drawing on years of wilderness survival training, I quickly determine the wound: snakebite. I grab a nearby stone blade, slice open the wound, then press a fire-heated branch against it. After one agonized scream, I collapse to the ground, hoping the high temperature will destroy the venom proteins. After a night of fighting for survival, I bounce back the next day like an indestructible cockroach. I grab a piece of dried meat from a woman's hand and devour it. When I finish, I gesture wildly, demanding more. The woman's answer is obviously no. After all, in this small tribe of just over 50 people, daily food is limited. And now, with winter approaching, they need to stockpile supplies. Food goes to the adult workers first. I'll have to find my own food. As the weather grows colder by the day, I must find a way to store food for winter. Thinking it through, the easiest meat to obtain right now is fish. There's a stream less than 1,000 meters away. But this tribe doesn't eat fish, so naturally, they have no fishing tools. With this in mind, I gather some vines and begin weaving a basket to catch fish. Soon, I return to the cave entrance with a large bundle of vines and start crafting the basket. Several children gather around, watching me curiously, making unintelligible sounds. Nearby, a few women are drying grass in the sun. Suddenly, terrified screams pierce the air from the distance. Chief Thane and two men are running, each clutching a massive egg, howling as they sprint. At the same time, ear-splitting shrieks fill the air. A terror beak, over 3 meters tall, charges after the chief. I immediately shout, "Drop the eggs!" But no one understands. Thane refuses to abandon the egg, and the terror beak refuses to abandon Thane. Within moments, the bird catches up. One vicious strike, Thane meets his end on the spot. The two other men, seeing this, immediately throw down their eggs and flee to the forest edge, climbing trees to safety. The children beside me have never witnessed such a terrifying scene. They scream in panic. The terror beak, losing its target, instantly pivots and charges toward the howling children at the cave. Seeing this, I quickly usher the children into the cave. The women inside rapidly roll a massive round stone to block the entrance. The terror beak, unable to enter, turns back to Thane's body and begins feeding. I make a decision. The bird must die. It has tasted human flesh and knows the tribe's location. The tribe will never know peace otherwise, but I have no weapons. A direct fight is impossible. Then I notice the bird's long, powerful legs. My eyes light up. I immediately begin preparing. First, I find 2 fist-sized stones. I remove the snake skin wrapped around my waist and tie a stone to each end. With this makeshift bola complete, I slip out through a gap in the cave entrance. The people inside are shocked. They want to pull me back, but fear attracting the terror beak again. They can only watch anxiously from inside, becoming helpless spectators. I quietly hide in the bushes, crouching low as I advance. I stop about 500 to 600 meters from the terror beak. The bird is still enjoying its meal, unaware that it has become my prey. I stand slowly, gripping the middle of the snakeskin rope, spinning the bola rapidly. The 2 stones whirl outward, the centrifugal force snapping the rope taut. The terror beak senses the movement. It raises its head, screams, and charges straight at me. It gets closer and closer. The women and children at the cave entrance scream in terror, but I remain perfectly still, steady as a rock. When the terror beak reaches 30 meters, I hurl the bola. The spinning weapon flies through the air. The moment it contacts the bird's long legs, it wraps tight. The terror beak, already within 10 meters, loses balance and crashes down. Its small wings flap uselessly. It cannot stand. The cave dwellers stand frozen, mouths hanging open in disbelief. I immediately call 2 children to hold down the bird's neck. I hoist a large stone and smash it down hard. Blood sprays from the terror beak's head. Its body stops struggling violently, then goes completely still. The 2 children stare at me with awe in their eyes. I untie the snake skin from the bird's legs, wrap it around my waist again, and signal the 2 boys to help me drag the terror beak back to the cave. The boys are now completely obedient, looking like devoted followers. Together, the 3 of us pull the massive bird by its legs toward the cave. Seeing 3 people bringing back such an enormous kill, the cave dwellers can no longer stay inside. They howl excitedly, push aside the boulder, and rush out to help. In the distance, the 2 adult men who had climbed the trees now descend. They witness the entire hunt. I took down a terror beak alone. They're deeply impressed. This is the first time their tribe has ever captured prey this large. Back at the cave, I tell the women to save the feathers for me. They can handle the rest. With the danger past, I continue weaving my basket. After about an hour, 2 woven baskets are complete. I fill them with some terror beak innards and head toward the stream. A woman, seeing me heading to the stream alone, follows. She believes I'm capable and wants to keep an eye on me. The 2 boys who just pledged their loyalty to me see me carrying another strange contraption and immediately chase after me. The group of 4 quickly reaches the stream. I stand on the bank, carefully observing. What I see makes my heart race. In just a few minutes, I witness several cases of big fish eating small fish. This stream has carnivorous fish, but I have to admit, the ecosystem here is pristine. The water is so clear I can see straight to the bottom, and fish are everywhere. I choose a good spot, grip the grass rope attached to the basket, and lower it into the water. The scent of meat spreads rapidly. Fish within 20 meters become agitated, swimming quickly toward the basket, diving inside to fight over the innards. I yank the basket out of the water. Aside from those that escaped, 4 large fish remain inside, and the fish in the stream haven't fled. They're swarming below, still fighting over the scraps. It feels like feeding koi in a park. The 2 children and the adult woman are amazed. By putting that strange thing in the water and pulling it up, they can catch these legless creatures, but they still don't understand why. I dump the 4 fish on the ground, carefully clean them, cut off a piece of sashimi and eat it. Watching me devour the raw fish, they immediately understand this is food. They mimic me, cutting a piece and putting it in their mouths. The woman's eyes light up instantly. She realizes this is a new food source. She chatters excitedly, gesturing for me to teach her how to catch fish, but I don't let her do this work. Instead, I assign her and 1 child to clean the fish, while another child uses grass to string the cleaned fish on a stick to carry back to the tribe. I continue catching fish. Now all the fish are gathering gathering together. I simply crouch on the bank and scoop with the basket. Each scoop brings a good haul. The 4 of us work all afternoon. By the end, we've caught over 200 fish, the largest weighing about 10 pounds. 3 people can't carry them all back, so we send 1 child to fetch more helpers. Finally, the group carries and hauls our catch in a grand procession back toward the cave. By now, the gathering and hunting parties have all returned. Without proper tools, the adults only manage to catch small game, rabbits, wild chickens, and the like. Then the children arrive carrying fish, howling proudly, showing off their catch to the adults. The adults had been feeling down about the chief's death, but when they see my haul, they instantly cheer up. Thane's tragedy is quickly forgotten. After sorting today's harvest, all tribe members gather outside the cave. In the clearing before the entrance, they've piled a large stack of wood. Thane's body rests on top. An old man with 2 ram horns on his head lights the pyre. The roaring flames quickly consume the chief's body. Firelight dances across every face. The children smell roasting meat and swallow their saliva. They feel no sadness. The adults, now with a new food source, remain calm. I take this opportunity to observe the tribe. The tribe currently has 52 members, 8 adult men, 15 adult women, and the rest are children of various ages. The old man who lit the fire is the tribe's elder. Because he's the oldest, everyone considers him the wisest person in the tribe. Though now, he might need to settle for second place. I'm replacing him in everyone's hearts. There's also a man with 6 fingers who prefers using a wooden club. Likely due to inbreeding, he seems somewhat simple-minded. Next to 6 is a man wearing a feather necklace. He appears clever and, like 6, prefers a wooden club. Behind Feather is Stone, who wears a bone necklace and uses stones as weapons. Standing some distance away is a 15-year-old youth with only 1 ear and 4 scars across his left cheek. His weapon is a spear made from a straight leg bone. Next to Scar is 17-year-old Fang. His father was chief 2 generations ago. His weapons are 2-foot-long, saber-toothed tiger fangs. Then there's Ox, the tallest in the tribe, powerfully built. His weapon is simple and brutal, just a leg bone. Finally, there's Flint, who walks with a cane. He now follows the gathering group, handling pathfinding and watch duty. He loves sharpening stone tools. They say his greatest dream is to grind out a stone plate before he dies. Overall, among all the men, Scar, Fang, and Ox represent the tribe's top fighting power. After burning the chief, darkness has fallen. Led by Elder Horn, everyone enters the cave to divide the food. Since no one has eaten fish before, today they make an exception. I distribute the food. I take a pre-roasted fish and demonstrate how to eat it and pick out the bones. Everyone mimics me, eating with relish. Perhaps because it's the first time they've eaten their fill, everyone grows happier as they eat. They even start dancing while eating. The scene suddenly gives me a sense of home. I silently vow to lead the tribe to a better life. After everyone finishes eating, Elder Horn takes a charred stick and records my fishing scene on the cave wall. Meanwhile, I teach the women to weave baskets. I add 2 grass ropes, converting them into backpacks. From now on, they won't need to carry fruit and animal hides, greatly improving gathering efficiency. The women love them immediately, taking turns trying them on, reluctant to put them down. Finally, they agree to gather more vines tomorrow to make their own. To show their gratitude, they select 2 deer hides from the gathering team and place them in my hands. From this moment, I become the first child in the tribe to wear animal hide. But I'm not stingy. I keep 1 hide and give the other to the mothers of the 2- and 3-year-old children for making clothes for their kids. Children have weak immune systems, and in primitive society with no medical care, a simple cold or fever can be fatal. So this 1 deer hide is worth a life. I believe if I ever need their help, they won't turn their backs on me. The next morning, I wake early. After a simple set of military exercises, I feel thirsty, but looking at the stone basin where everyone drinks together, I can't bring myself to drink from it. It's time to make some vessels for holding water. Soon, tribe members emerge from the cave chattering, but today they don't rush out to hunt. Elder Horn gathers all the men at the clearing by the cave entrance. It seems they're selecting a new chief. I realize only by becoming chief can I command everyone, so I join the selection. The selection method is simple and brutal. 2 men fight without weapons. The strongest becomes the next chief. Soon Scar and Ox emerge victorious. Watching them fight, I shake my head helplessly. There's no technique at all, just a contest of brute strength. Soon comes the match between Scar and Ox. At 6'3", Ox stands like an iron tower. Scar feels at a loss for how to approach, but he doesn't back down. Instead, he screams and launches the first attack. But the moment he reaches Ox, Ox's massive hands grab both his shoulders. Before Scar can react, Ox hurls him several meters away. He crashes to the ground with a thud and can't get up for some time. Ox beats his chest excitedly. The tribe members shout in excitement, showing their approval of this new chief. Then I walk up to him in just a few steps. There's still me. Ox sees me, a kid, daring to challenge him. He beats his chest and roars, but I don't back down. I stand before Ox in a fighting stance. Ox looks down at me, barely reaching his chest, with eyes full of confidence and contempt. The watching children cheer for me, howling encouragement. I don't hesitate. I rush at Ox, plant my left foot on Ox's slightly bent thigh, and leap up. My right knee drives hard into Ox's jaw. Before anyone can react, Ox falls straight down, rolling on the ground, groaning. The tribe members are instantly stunned. Ox is the tribe's strongest warrior. Even if he lost, he shouldn't have been defeated in 1 move. And by me, an underage child no less. Elder Horn suddenly becomes very excited. A feeling, baseless but powerful, rises in his heart. The entire tribe might grow stronger and stronger because of this child. Before he can make any announcement, the tribe members have already lifted me high, tossing me in the air to celebrate the birth of their new chief. In just 2 days, I've brought too many miracles to the tribe. This result is what everyone hoped for. Ox has recovered by now. He's clearly still not convinced. Amid the crowd's shocked cries, he charges at me again. Seeing this, I immediately flip down. When Ox reaches me, I grab 2 of his fingers and yank them forward forcefully. Then, with a sidestep, I circle behind Ox and kick hard at the back of his knee. Ox falls face first to the ground. The more he struggles, the more it hurts. In less than 2 minutes, even a powerhouse like Ox has no choice but to beg for mercy, tears and snot streaming down his face. face. I finally release the sobbing big guy, dust off my hands, and walk into the cave. The crowd erupts again. The children celebrate excitedly, their first time defeating an adult. The women discuss where they saw vines, planning to have me teach them to weave more backpacks tonight. Elder Horn stares at the cave with a complex expression, lost in thought. At that moment, I emerge with a completely new look. I wear a simple deer hide. My jet black hair is bound up with a strip of snake skin. I look clean, sharp, and capable. This is my carefully considered new style. They say this appearance dates back to ancient times. Early farmers began binding their hair because loose hair was inconvenient for field work. It became an important symbol of agricultural civilization. Under the tribe's star-struck gazes, I walk into the crowd and begin assigning today's tasks. First, I reorganize the gathering team. The tribe now has 15 adult women. 6 are pregnant, the remaining 9 plus Flint make 10 people. But today, I only send 8 women to gather. Now that they have backpacks, they don't need Flint for protection. Each woman can carry a stick for self-defense. The 6 pregnant women stay behind to watch the home and care for the 2 and 3-year-olds. The older children will gather grass. The remaining woman will take 2 boys to catch fish at the stream. Now everyone has work, but Flint hasn't received an assignment. He seems dejected. For this man who vowed to spend his life grinding out a stone plate, I plan to have him make pottery. But pottery making isn't simple. It requires a lot of preparation. So for now, I assign him something else. Yesterday's fish aren't dried yet. Without salt, they'll rot quickly in this weather. Smoke curing can preserve them for years. So I demonstrate the process for Flint, then leave it all to him. Meanwhile, I find a flat area in front of the cave and begin digging a pit to build a kiln. The kiln has 3 levels. The bottom is for ash removal and airflow, the middle for adding firewood, and the top for placing pottery. After 3 or 4 hours of work, the kiln is finally built. But a wet kiln can't be used. I call the 2 boys from yesterday's fishing trip and have them stack firewood in each level to burn. By this afternoon, it should be ready. After assigning all the work, I personally go to the stream to select clay. I find a smooth, flat pebble to use as a work surface. After pounding and kneading the clay, I shape it. Soon, the first small water jar, narrow at the bottom, wide at the top, is complete. Following the same method, I make 3 more, placing them all beside the cave to dry. Then come several 2-handled cooking pots, dozens of clay bowls, and some small utensils. These items don't need to be beautiful, just functional. I still aren't sure how many of these will survive the firing. When the afternoon is halfway through, I place all the half-dried pieces into the kiln. The 2 boys and Flint stand nearby, watching intently. The new chief has made so many clay vessels in one day, they just don't know if they'll work. I ignore them. I sit by the fire pit, adding plenty of firewood, and stay there until evening. The tribe members out gathering and hunting return one by one. The women's harvest is abundant, backpacks filled with wild fruit and large bundles of vines, clearly planning to make more backpacks. The men's catch is also good today. 2 large birds that look like turkeys, some eggs, and several groundhogs. Adding today's 100+ fish, the tribe's total harvest is substantial. All the food we can't eat today can be stored. With those pregnant women about to give birth, they'll have plenty of food. When the clay bowls begin turning white, I stop adding firewood. I let the fire die naturally and cool overnight. Tomorrow morning, we can open the kiln. After a day of labor, the tribe members are exhausted, but as they gather around the campfire, every face wears a happy smile. No more hunger. Most importantly, I've turned the 2 large birds into clay-baked chicken. They've never tasted such delicious food, but I have no appetite. The food only has a tiny bit of coarse salt. You can barely taste it. Salt is precious right now. They say it was traded from another tribe. I'm already calculating in my mind, can I trade pottery for more salt? After everyone eats, the women return to the cave to weave baskets. They've discovered backpacks are truly useful. Today, despite having fewer people in the gathering team, they collected more than before. I distribute all the animal hides. Now several children can huddle together under blankets. The next morning, I immediately check the pottery firing results. Flint rushes over with Elder Horn, chattering nervously to the elder. I myself am extremely nervous. My salt trading plan and my dream of meat soup all depend on this. With the anticipation of breaking open a golden egg, I lift the dirt cover off the kiln and peer inside. All the clay bowls are a vibrant terracotta red, as if glazed, unexpectedly smooth. Seeing this, Flint snatches up a bowl, running his hands over it excitedly. He then stumbles back to the cave. Moments later, he returns carrying a bowl of water, howling with joy, proudly showing the tribe this beautiful water-holding vessel. I smile and continue removing the pottery. 4 cooking pots and 4 small water jars came out perfectly, smooth surfaces without a single crack. Of the 8 spoons, only 2 survived. The rest melted and stuck together. Of the 20+ clay bowls, only 12 are usable. Piece after piece of terracotta pottery emerges from the kiln. The tribe members feel nothing but shock and excitement. Fang and Ox move fastest. Each grabs a jar and runs to the stream. Soon they return with 2 jars of water. Though Elder Horn is excited, he maintains his composure. He gestures and speaks to me, asking how this was done. Before I can answer, yesterday's 2 helpers eagerly jump in to explain. But my main concern is whether I can trade for salt. I express this question to Elder Horn. Unexpectedly, Elder Horn looks at me like he's looking at a wasteful child. He points at the various pottery pieces, then at the adults and children of the tribe, explaining in their language just how precious these things are. When I finally understand, I'm completely shocked. Even a single bowl can be traded for an almost adult boy or 2 girls, never mind the water jars and cooking pots. Among the various tribes, water-holding vessels are extremely rare. Spending a lifetime grinding out a stone plate is normal. To obtain more vessels, some tribes will trade people without hesitation. They think having too many people is useless and just consumes more food. But I believe more people can obtain more food and increase the tribe's fighting strength. New members bring fresh blood to the tribe. With this in mind, I immediately assign a trading mission. Elder Horn and all 7 members of the hunting party will set out, using 1 water jar, 1 cooking pot, and 3 clay bowls to trade for people and salt. Trade the water jar for 2 adult women. Trade the cooking pot for 2 almost adult boys. Trade all 3 clay bowls for precious salt crystals collected from mountain rocks. If there's no salt, trade the bowls for girls. After giving instructions, the group immediately departs. I continue assigning tasks to the other tribe members. The trade is with a tribe to the west. Over a mountain and across a valley, the group quickly reaches their destination. This tribe is slightly larger than Riverstone tribe, with about 80 to 90 people. The 2 tribes have traded with each other other before. Seeing Elder Horn's group arrive with goods to trade, Chief Baldcap of the other tribe immediately comes out to greet them. After a brief conversation, Elder Horn pulls a clay bowl from his backpack and hands it to him. Trade this for salt. Baldcap's eyes light up immediately. This clay bowl is smooth inside and out, and much lighter than his tribe's stone basin. He immediately has 2 tribe members fetch a small bag of white crystals and hand it to Elder Horn. But Elder Horn glances at the bag and shakes his head. We need more. And this time, we also want to trade for 2 adult women. He has Ox take out the water jar. Baldcap is stunned. This stone basin is huge. It can store so much more water. But the next moment he hesitates. Trading 2 women for 1 such large stone basin is definitely a good deal, but right now it's autumn, the season for collecting food. 1 fewer person means less harvest. But in the end, he agrees with a smile. 1 fewer person means less consumption, right? This is a steal. Soon, 2 thin women are brought over. They're adult sisters. The older sister is holding a 4-year-old naked little boy. The boy's eyes are closed, motionless, clearly sick. We'll trade these 2 people for your big stone basin. That little boy will throw in for free. Baldcap waves dismissively, seeming to hurry the 2 women along. Elder Horn looks at the 2 weak women but says nothing. He has Stone pull out the cooking pot and remaining clay bowls from his backpack. If you want it, you can trade boys. Chief Baldcap just got the large jar. Now seeing the smaller one, he likes it but waves his hand, indicating he won't trade. Seeing this, Elder Horn can only follow my morning instructions, demonstrate on the spot. He uses the clay pot to cook a pot of meat soup. Soon, rich meaty aroma wafts from the pot. The other tribe's members immediately start drooling. Meat can be eaten this way. Chief Baldcap eagerly takes the clay bowl from Elder Horn's hands. It's filled with several chunks of stewed meat and soup. Baldcap hesitantly takes a sip and is instantly stunned. My goodness, it's so delicious. The savory soup has a beautiful layer of oil floating on top. That tender, juicy stewed meat. 1 bite and his whole body feels amazing. Just a few kids? Trade. Must trade. Now Baldcap is finally generous. He readily hands over the people and has his underlings bring out a large bag of salt crystals, filling Ox's entire backpack. Seeing this, Elder Horn nods with satisfaction. The group then sets off on the return journey. They came with 7 people. With the 9 people they acquired, they return with 16. This haul is better than a full day of hunting. The group hurries along and finally returns to Riverstone Tribe near evening. But the moment these newly acquired people reach the clearing at the cave entrance, they're all stunned. At the cave entrance sit 4 water jars, 4 pots, and a large stack of bowls that Flint made today. Flint is staring at the pottery with a silly grin. This is the happiest day of his life. On another part of the clearing, several hundred large fish hang drying. The women nearby are all smiling happily. This is all meat. Now they can catch meat too. The newly traded adults and children are especially shocked. A single stone basin can trade for 2 adults, yet this tribe has so many, and those hanging meats should all be edible. Coming to this tribe seems pretty good. Elder Horn brings the people to report to me. 8 naked people, plus 1 naked child. I squint as I walk past each of them. They're all skin and bones, clearly second-rate goods, but no matter. The tribe has plenty of meat, 1 winter, and they'll all fill out. I finally stop in front of the woman holding the child. The child is motionless, face flushed red. I touch the child's forehead. It's burning like a small furnace. I quickly pull the woman into the cave. First, I find an animal hide to wrap the mother and child, having them sit by the fire pit to warm up. Meanwhile, I pace anxiously. There are no medicines. How can I reduce the fever? Suddenly, my eyes light up. Right, scraping therapy can reduce fever. With this thought, I immediately start preparing. First, I put a pot of clear fish soup on the fire pit. Then I look for a bone suitable for scraping. The Terrorbeak's beak was half a meter long. Smashing off a small piece will be enough. The woman holding the child doesn't know what I'm doing. Earlier, I touched her child and have been frowning ever since. She worries I might abandon her child. Thinking this, tears start flowing. Just then, I walk up to her with a piece of beak fragment. Give me the child. I can help save him. The woman doesn't understand the words, but she can sense that I treat her better than the previous chief. Trembling, she hands the child over. I use the bone fragment to scrape red marks across the child's body. The sleeping child's face wrinkles in pain, whimpers escaping his mouth. Before long, I return the child, now covered in red scrape marks, to her. I then ladle a bowl of fish soup and spoon feed it to her child. The child must have been starving for days. He swallows immediately upon tasting it. I breathe a sigh of relief. If he can eat, there's still hope. As long as he can sweat out the fever in a while, this little life will be saved. The woman finally relaxes. Though she doesn't know what I was doing, it clearly wasn't meant to harm her child. As she relaxes, her stomach, empty for 2 days, starts gurgling. She stares at the fish soup, swallowing. I immediately ladle a bowl of fish soup with a large piece of fish and hand it to her. Then I take the child from her arms, wrap him tightly in animal hide, and hold him. Right now, my mind is troubled. A simple fever can be a death sentence. The eating problem is temporarily solved, but what about clothing? To accumulate as many hides as possible, I need to hunt large animals. But current weapons simply can't do it. In future hunts, I must go along to find materials for better weapons. At the very least, I need to set up some traps. I silently vow, before winter arrives, everyone will have clothing. After everyone finishes eating, the little boy wakes up, drenched in sweat. I hand him back to the woman. I personally bind the boy's hair into a top knot and give him a name, Sprout. The woman is overjoyed. The new tribe's chief not only saved her child, but personally gave him the same hairstyle as everyone else. This means I've accepted them. After finishing this, I begin crafting my own equipment. I select a fairly straight stick. I attach the spear point ground from the Terrorbeak's leg bone to one end. A primitive bone spear is born. Next, I break off some pieces of the Terrorbeak's beak and grind them into a short knife. I give the remaining materials to Flint to craft his own weapon. Right now, equipment consists of just these 2 items. I have to make everything myself. Early the next morning, after the tribe members wake up, I assign new tasks. Flint continues making pottery. We must first ensure everyone has a bowl. The adult women split into 2 teams, one for gathering wild fruit, one for catching fish. The remaining children stay behind to help. I personally lead the hunt. The hunting party's full roster, plus my 2 usual followers, Chirp and Skip, and the newly acquired brothers Reed and Brooke, makes a team of 11. We stride into the forest as the sun rises. After entering the forest, the hunting party spreads out. Each adult hunts on his own. I bring my 4 young followers. They carry backpacks and a bundle of grass rope to assist me. Most Most trees in this forest bear nuts. Each tree stands over 30 meters tall. Looking at the trunks, over a meter in diameter, I can do nothing with them. Nuts litter the ground. In the distance I can see large birds foraging on the ground. But along this route, I only observe. I don't hunt any animals. As an excellent hunter, I must first understand what's in my hunting ground. Soon, I find wild boar tracks. Judging from the chaotic footprints, it's a group. But the depth of those prints truly frightens me. The weight must be at least 1,000 pounds or more. I advance cautiously in that direction. Finally cresting a ridge, my eyes light up. Ahead in the valley lies a sparkling stream. To the west grow massive reeds. Over a dozen thunder boars are drinking water. Clearly a complete family. The lead male probably weighs 1,500 pounds. Behind him follow 3 sows and over a dozen piglets the size of domestic pigs. Charging straight in would be suicide. I need to set traps. I quietly back away, staying close to the ground, and return to the forest. My young followers are terrified. They've never seen prey this large. I don't count on them at all. I begin setting traps alone. Using grass rope on the boar tracks, I make several figure-6 snares, tying the other end directly to large trees. Once a hoof steps in, the snare auto-tightens. The more it struggles, the tighter it gets. For safety, I have the boys climb trees. Now I just need to make the boar herd turn back. I quietly circle to the other side of the stream. I cover myself in mud, hold up 2 branches, and suddenly leap out from behind the bushes, screaming at the top of my lungs. The boar herd has never seen such a creature. They immediately bolt toward the forest. I chase from behind, shouting as I run. Soon, agonized squeals echo from ahead. When I reach the trap area, I see the lead male and an adult sow lying on the ground. The grass rope won't hold much longer. I carefully approach with my bone spear. Timing it perfectly, I thrust hard into its open mouth. The sharp bone spear pierces straight through the back of its neck. Blood sprays out like it's free. Within moments, the 1,500-pound beast finally collapses, its body twitching occasionally. I finally breathe a long sigh of relief. But soon, a problem presents itself. How can 5 children get this massive boar back? Looking at the struggling sow nearby, my eyes suddenly light up. First, I secure the sow to a tree with grass rope, then tie its mouth shut to prevent biting. Next, I tie 2 ropes to the sow's 2 front legs. Finally, I tie the male boar's rope to the sow's body. Once everything is done, I lead the way by pulling the sow's snout. Chirp and Skip each hold one of the sow's front legs, walking on either side. Reed and Brooke carry sticks at the rear for security. We trek through the dense forest until finally, in the distance, we spot the tribe's cave. A young tribe member clearing brush outside is the first to spot us. He howls, alerting the tribe. Soon, everyone swarms out to meet us, but no one dares get close. They've never seen prey this large. I call Flint over and have him prepare a water jar and salt. When Flint brings the jar, I dig a pit in the ground and place the jar inside, with the rim barely above ground level. Then everyone pins the sow beside the jar. I plunge my knife into its neck. The blood sprays out without wasting a drop, all flowing into the jar. Soon it's filled to the brim. I pour in a bowl of salt water and stir it evenly. Before long, it will become delicious blood pudding for tonight's soup. The thunder boar hide can be processed to make boots or bags. These 2 boars should yield plenty. Under the hide lies a white layer of lard, 4 fingers thick. I'll render it over the fire soon. Everything else, except the lungs which will be used for fishing bait, is edible. Even the larger bones are stripped out. They can be ground into weapons. The entire afternoon passes. All my efforts go into processing these 2,000-pound boars. It's exhausting work, but the results are truly rewarding. The smoking racks are filled with chunks of meat of all sizes. 1 jar holds cooked blood pudding, and 3 jars brim with pure white lard. The children giggle as they pick up crispy pork cracklings, and even little Sprout enjoys the feast. As Flint opens the kiln to retrieve the pottery in the evening, the main work groups return from their day's labor. The fishing team brings back several hundred fish. The hunting team does equally well with 3 pheasants, 2 large snakes, over a dozen bird eggs, a dozen ground squirrels, and a basket of nuts. Even more surprising, today Maple leads the gathering team and discovers a new food source, an incredibly sweet tree root. When cut open, the outer skin reveals natural amber-colored sugar inside. Collecting more of these could allow us to refine white sugar. I specifically praise the young woman for this discovery. Everyone enjoys dinner immensely. However, Elder Horn wears a dark expression, holding a thorny vine covered with red spines, chasing after Maple and repeatedly striking her. From the original owner's memories, I know this vine serves as the tribe's disciplinary tool, used only for those who commit serious offenses. Seeing this, I quickly intervene, stopping the furious elder and asking why he's punishing her. The elder claims that these roots are bait from the thorn tree, and anyone who eats them will be devoured by it. Hearing this, I immediately tell everyone to stop consuming the roots. Not because I truly believe the elder's claim, but because I worry the roots might be poisonous or addictive. Because of this incident, I remain vigilant throughout the night, carefully monitoring my body for any changes. Fortunately, nothing happens. When daylight arrives and people emerge, I begin organizing the day's work. Everything proceeds as usual. With one exception, Sprout and his mother join the fishing team, while I take 4 younger boys to join the gathering team. I want to investigate this so-called thorn tree that Elder Horn mentioned. The tree's location lies deep in the mountain behind the cave. This mountain has few tall trees, but the shrubs grow incredibly dense, and fruit trees are plentiful. During the journey, I make a delightful discovery, the chili peppers I've been longing for. A bright red patch hides among the shrubs. The tribe members never eat these because the intense spicy taste makes them believe the peppers are inedible. I immediately instruct my 4 companions to focus solely on harvesting chili peppers today. I then continue with the gathering team. After crossing a ridge, a basin comes into view. Animal bones with a greenish tint scatter everywhere, resembling a mass grave. In the center of this basin stands a bizarre tree, roughly 60 meters tall. Its roots cover an area of 500 meters in radius. The closer to the center, the more root bulbs appear. This pattern seems designed to lure animals toward the trunk. My instincts tell me that approaching the trunk means greater danger. Still, I decide to move closer, confident in my abilities to escape if needed. With each step, I probe the ground ahead with my bone spear, slowly advancing toward the center. When my spear touches the area beneath the tree's canopy, my special forces training triggers an alert. Danger approaches. I quickly withdraw my spear and retreat along the same path. At that moment, a whooshing sound fills the air. Over a dozen thorns, each nearly a meter long, shoot straight into the ground, targeting exactly where my spear had touched. Each thorn measures nearly a centimeter in diameter, with a bowl-sized white flower at the tail end. These are natural arrows! My excitement soars as the story of borrowing arrows with straw boats flashes through my mind. I use my woven basket as a target, tie a long rope to it, and toss it under the canopy. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Instantly, over a dozen thorns embed themselves in the basket. Repeating this process, I soon collect 2 large bundles of devil thorns. Before leaving, I instruct the women that the roots are edible, but they should only harvest from the outer areas. On the way back to the tribe, I collect 100 saplings from the thorn tree in the forest. These saplings have grown to about 3 centimeters thick, standing perfectly straight. They make ideal material for spears. I call my 4 companions who are harvesting peppers, and together the 5 of us carry these saplings home. Back at the tribe, children gather around to observe what I've brought back. However, in the eyes of the pregnant women, everything seems useless. The peppers aren't edible, and the sticks aren't thick enough to kill prey. But this doesn't dampen my enthusiasm in the slightest. For the remaining time, I focus on upgrading my equipment. The peeled devil thorns have a fine, hard texture with a diameter similar to a cigarette. If made into arrows, they would be heavy arrows. Though this affects range, their penetrating power would be formidable. The 3-centimeter thick saplings, due to their hard wood, need their surfaces carbonized and sharpened into points. They would definitely work well for hunting. Naturally, the task of sharpening spear tips goes to the 4 younger boys. Eventually, everyone in the tribe will be equipped with these new white shaft spears. Now all that's missing is a bow. Given current conditions, only longbows are feasible. Though cumbersome, their power remains formidable. Making longbows requires fir wood. The forest where we caught the wild boar yesterday has some. I just need to find appropriately sized pieces. Actually, what I truly value most is the aloe I discovered while hunting the boar. The fibers in aloe leaves make excellent material for making ropes and can also be woven into fabric for clothing. Though not as good as rami, it's far superior to animal hides and very durable. Most importantly, the juice from aloe leaves can treat wounds, providing both anti-inflammatory and detoxifying properties, as well as heat-clearing and fever-reducing effects. With this in mind, I plan to begin large-scale aloe cultivation next year. By then, tribe members will have clothes to wear, and it will greatly reduce deaths from infected hunting injuries. The next day, I arrive at the forest where we caught the wild boar. I'm fortunate to find 2 fir trees, knocked down by some animal and already air-dried. They're perfect for bow making. Spending an entire day, I first prepare stone axes and stone knives. After a full day of chopping and carving, a 5-foot longbow finally takes shape. After another careful day of adjusting and polishing, it's complete. The bowstring is twisted from sisal fibers. All the arrows are made from the ready-made devil thorns, with fletching from the terror beak's blue-green feathers. I make over 200 arrows in one go. 2 days later, I gather all tribe members in the clearing. 30 meters away stands a grass target with several ground squirrels we caught today hanging on it. First, I demonstrate the throwing spear, piercing the target from 30 meters away. Then I show close-range spear combat. The tribe members watch with great excitement. Only now do they realize that I've been making weapons these past few days. Except for very young children, I distribute 1 spear to every tribe member. Hunting team members each receive 3, 2 for throwing and 1 for close combat. The adolescents must practice spear throwing every day, in addition to clearing grass and playing. The white shaft spears look impressive. The tribe members cherish these new weapons. Besides throwing stones, this is their only ranged attack option. Next, I demonstrate the bow and arrows. From roughly 100 paces away, I shoot 5 consecutive arrows, all hitting the ground squirrels. Everyone stands amazed, crowding forward eagerly, wanting to touch the weapon. However, I only demonstrate it for them. I don't plan to promote it yet, as making bows is simply too difficult. After successfully promoting the spears, I begin making boots. 2 black boar hides, after multiple rounds of tanning, have become extremely strong and flexible. To ensure everyone gets a pair, only my boots are made entirely from boar hide. All other tribe members have boots with boar hide soles and uppers sewn from various small animal furs. I make sprouts boots myself. The boot shafts reach up to the knees, filled with soft, furry animal hair inside, making them exceptionally warm. The little one shows them off to everyone daily after putting them on. After all my work, the tribe's limited supply of small hide pieces has been completely used up. The weather grows colder, and the need for animal hides becomes urgent. Now that we have enough pottery, I assign Flint a new task, making bricks. Once we have enough bricks, we can build a larger kiln, or even use them to build walls and houses. The grass clearing task I assigned to the young companions is nearly complete. The entire area outside the cave, spanning dozens of acres, has been cleared. Whether for building houses or farming, the land is ready. We just lack suitable seeds for now. We can only plant some chili peppers. Sisal is a perennial plant. I plan to plant it on the back mountain and harvest it once a year. Having arranged these long-term tasks, I prepare to travel farther to search for large herbivores. I've already prepared all necessary equipment for the journey, weapons, food, and supplies. After briefing the tribe members, I shoulder my woven basket and set off. Elderhorn's face shows deep concern about my journey. He has never seen anyone survive spending a night outside the cave. Herbivores typically inhabit grasslands. First, I must exit this endless forest. After walking an entire morning, the trees grow shorter. This pleases me. It's a sign I'm about to leave the forest. The morning's journey leaves me parched. I approach a river, wanting to drink. Just as I kneel down and take out my clay bowl to scoop water, the calm river surface suddenly erupts. A massive creature emerges. A gaping maw full of serrated teeth lunges at me. I quickly turn my back. The water beast bites down on my woven basket. Its mouth becomes stuck on the basket. It can't spit it out or bite through it. It can only thrash its head violently from side to side. I get dragged into the water, swinging left and right. In this critical moment, I struggle to pull out the bird beak dagger from my boot and cut one strap of the basket. This allows me to turn around with great effort. With one hand, I desperately grip the remaining strap. With the other, I grip the the dagger and stab repeatedly at the water beast's head. The beast thrashes even more violently, lifting me high out of the water, then slamming me down hard, dragging me through the water in a wild rampage. I flip myself onto the beast's head and drive the blade savagely into both its eyes. Blood mixed with brain matter gushes from the eye sockets, clouding a large area of water. Gradually, the beast's struggles weaken, finally reducing to mere twitching. I swim exhaustedly to the opposite shore. After resting briefly, the water beast dies completely, floating belly up on the river's surface with my woven basket still firmly lodged in its mouth. I find a sturdy vine, thread it through the beast's eye sockets, and with tremendous effort, drag it ashore. Only then do I have time to examine this creature carefully. It turns out to be just a fish, measuring about 5 meters in length. After resting, I pick up my stone axe and begin knocking out the fish's plate-like teeth. The triangular teeth, each as large as a child's palm, number over 50. After removing them all, I retrieve my basket. Checking the contents, fortunately the firekeeper didn't get wet. Some other items suffered minor damage but remain usable. Just as I consider making a fire to dry my clothes, footsteps suddenly sound from the forest. Turning my head, I see a pale-skinned woman with a young girl, both staring at me in terror. Immediately, they both scream and run away, leaving behind something round on the ground. I walk over to investigate. It's a wooden bucket, made by hollowing out a solid log section. By the looks of it, those two women must have come to fetch water. Now they've dropped the bucket and fled. They'll probably return with others soon. Sure enough, before long, the woman who came for water returns with several of her tribe members. They wear white animal hide robes, their skin so pale it looks powdered. The group stares at the giant fish behind me with astonishment. A man who appears to be their chief makes eye contact with me and points at the wooden bucket. I immediately understand. I lift the bucket with my spear and hand it to the chief. The chief accepts the bucket, chattering something unintelligible, then points at the giant fish behind me. Though I can't understand the words, seeing him point at the fish makes the meaning clear enough. I step aside to reveal the fish. The group immediately rushes over and begins beating the giant fish furiously. Several women even burst into tears. The leading man smiles, pounds his chest with his fist, then extends his fist toward me. I look bewildered. However, seeing the friendly smile, it probably isn't a challenge to fight. Hesitantly, I bump fists with him. The man laughs heartily and gives me a warm embrace, then starts chattering and gesturing animatedly with me. Even without shared language, expressions and body language allow communication. I tell him I came from across the river, searching for animals with horns on their heads. The man nods in understanding, then explains that many from his tribe have been eaten by this fish. To thank me for killing it, he hopes I'll visit their tribe as a guest. Evening approaches, and the two tribes aren't far apart. Perhaps we can trade goods in the future. So I accept the invitation. I indicate they can take the fish. It's edible. The man looks surprised. In their experience, fish eat people, not the other way around. Still, he agrees. Because the fish is so large, they must butcher it first before carrying it away in pieces. I continue working. The silver fish skin measures 4 meters long and 3.5 meters wide. It's smooth, elastic, and most importantly, waterproof. I decisively keep it. The rest of the fish meat, after cleaning, gets cut into several large pieces for carrying. The tribe is located in the forest. After just 10 minutes of walking, we reach a massive tree hollow. The interior space measures only about 100 square meters. Though small, it's sufficient for their needs because their population is truly tiny. Only 14 adults in total, and including all the children, only 32 people altogether. I call this tribe that lives in a tree hollow the Tree Hollow tribe. Their pale skin comes from living their entire lives in this dark forest. Their elder points east and tells me that beyond the shadow forest in that direction stands a mountain like clouds in the sky. On that mountain lives a species with 2 sharp horns on their heads. They run fast as the wind. No one can catch them. From his description, I guess they must be large antelopes or similar creatures. Chasing them would be futile, but I could set traps in advance. At this moment, I feel confident. However, Timber and Elder Bark don't hold much hope for me. Seeing the elder finish speaking, Timber recommends his own clothing to me. It's made from the hide of giant hares, creatures over half a meter long. These hares feed on moss and mushrooms in the forest. This shadow forest has plenty of them. My eyes light up immediately. Hares are excellent creatures. Like rats, they breed prolifically, commonly producing 5 or more offspring per litter. Young hares reach sexual maturity 4 months after birth and can breed again, averaging 1 litter every 2 months. If I could bring back 2 pairs of adult hares and domesticate them, within a year they'd multiply into hundreds. By then, the entire tribe wouldn't lack clothing, and hare meat would become an important food source. After dinner, Timber says he's taking tribe members hunting and asks if I want to join. I feel momentarily surprised. However, since hares are nocturnal animals, nighttime hunting makes perfect sense, so I agree. Arriving at the destination, I don't participate. I quietly hide to the side, watching how they catch hares. Timber leads his people in collecting mushrooms, placing them beneath an iron oak tree. The group then conceals themselves nearby. Before long, a plump hare hops over, alertly surveying its surroundings. Seeing nothing amiss, it slowly approaches the mushrooms. At that moment, Timber and his group rush out. Using branches with dense twigs, they quickly immobilize the hare, then finish it off with a wooden spike. This is encirclement hunting, and they catch it alive. I instantly want to trade with them. How wonderful it would be if they could help me catch hares. We move to another location and set up mushrooms again. This time, I decide to show my skills. I take out the longbow and pull out an arrow. Timber stares, bewildered, not knowing what this thing is. Just then, another hare cautiously appears. Still over 10 meters from the mushrooms, Timber quickly tugs at me, signaling me to prepare to rush forward together. I ignore him. Instead, I draw the bow, knock the arrow, and whoosh! With one shot, the arrow pierces straight through the hare's neck. Timber stares at my bow in complete bewilderment. I smile, hand the longbow to him, give him an arrow, and teach him hand over hand how to draw the bow. He shoots another arrow at the hare on the ground. Whoosh! The arrow embeds itself halfway into the ground. The Tree Hollow tribe members gasp in amazement, fascinated by this miraculous weapon. Seeing Timber hold the bow lovingly, reluctant to let go, I give him a feathered arrow as a symbol of our friendship. The rest of the hunt becomes my solo performance. In half a night, I shoot over a dozen hares. This number exceeds their wildest imagination. Usually catching 3 or 4 in a day is considered excellent. This also makes the Tree Hollow tribe secretly wonder about the strength of my tribe. tribe. Upon returning following my request, the hair hides from this hunt go to me, while the meat goes to the Tree Hollow tribe. Naturally, they have no objections. If I stay here a while longer, I can definitely collect enough hides for my tribe. I've achieved my goal for this expedition, but I want to travel farther and explore this world more thoroughly. Moreover, I'm very interested in the animals Elder Bark mentioned. Perhaps capturing a few alive to pull carts wouldn't be bad. The next day at dawn, I replenish my food and fire supplies and bid farewell to Timber. I also ask him to help catch some live hares, feeding them grass and mushrooms daily. When I return, I'll trade other game for them. Timber doesn't want me to leave. After all, with me here, they'd survive this winter much better. But he knows I have more important matters to attend to. Bidding farewell to the Tree Hollow tribe, I walk along, cutting branches and inserting them in the ground as markers. After 2 full days of travel, I finally exit the dark forest. The view suddenly opens up before me. An expansive grassland stretches ahead, with only scattered trees visible. Animal tracks from herbivores appear on the ground. I take out my bow and arrows and carefully scout ahead. Soon, the scene before me makes me laugh with joy. A herd of blue antelopes, roughly the size of domestic donkeys, peacefully graze with their heads lowered. These could work perfectly as draft animals. I instantly decide to capture them alive. However, these blue antelopes clearly aren't to be trifled with. Just looking at the sharp horns on their heads makes it clear, if I rashly approach and all doesn't charge at once, the entire tribe would be wiped out. After careful observation, I notice this is the animal's mating season. Among this herd of blue antelopes, only 1 adult male exists. The others include 8 females and 8 juveniles. Realizing this, I immediately form a plan. Using the same method I used against the terrorbeak, I'll first control the male, and the others will naturally follow. I carefully retreat to a safe distance and begin making a bola. Soon I return with the bola, quietly hiding behind a shrub waiting for the right moment. I quickly find a good opportunity. The male antelope mounts a female, singing joyfully. I rapidly swing the bola. Like a propeller, it flies toward the mating pair, instantly entangling the hind legs of both blue antelopes. Both animals shudder violently and collapse to the ground with a thud, crying out continuously. Next, I swing a rope loop, cowboy style, and throw it swiftly, landing it perfectly around the hooves of 2 nearby female antelopes. The blue antelope herd instantly panics and scatters in all directions. Before long, several blue antelopes become tightly tangled together, crying out and struggling. The remaining 2 females, seeing the situation, flee with 8 juveniles. I watch helplessly as 10 antelopes escape, unable to do anything. I can only tie up the legs of the remaining blue antelopes with rope. Completely taming wild animals is very difficult. For aggressive species like blue antelopes, their pride must first be broken. So I use my stone axe to smash off their prized horns, then use heated charcoal to cauterize the stumps, preventing regrowth. An antelope that was violently struggling becomes as docile as a quail. Finally, I find rope, tie the male antelope at the front as the leader, and link all the others in a chain. By the time I finish, the sky has nearly darkened. I lead them to a small stream and stew dried hare meat for dinner. To the northeast of the stream rises a colorful stone mountain. Under the setting sun's glow, it reflects brilliant multicolored light. Judging by the colors alone, I determine this is a banded mineral vein where multiple minerals coexist. This discovery thrills me immensely. I want to investigate, but the sky has completely darkened. I can only suppress my impulse for now. The next day, just as dawn breaks, a commotion wakes me. The scene before me nearly makes me jump for joy. In the grove where I tied the blue antelopes, the 2 females that escaped yesterday have returned with 8 juveniles. Somehow they've even brought along another adult male. I quietly hide in the bushes and repeat my strategy. After another series of maneuvers, my antelope team grows from 7 to 18. By now, daylight has fully arrived. In high spirits, I ride the male antelope toward Rainbow Ridge. This place truly overflows with treasures. After careful observation, I discover this is actually a rich copper mine. The other colors represent associated minerals in the copper ore. With these ores, making bronze tools becomes far less distant. The associated minerals also have uses. The orange mineral is realgar, which can serve as medicine. Applied externally, it treats snake and insect bites. Taken internally, it eliminates parasites. The white substance is kaolin clay, useful for making crucibles for smelting iron. The large red mounds are termite nests, but the weathered soil inside makes excellent pottery material. Conveniently, Rainbow Ridge is only 3 days' walk from my tribe. Using blue antelopes to pull carts could make the journey even faster. I just need to build a bridge first upon returning. Having planned for the future, I take time to appreciate the surrounding scenery. East of Rainbow Ridge, the water system thrives, forming endless marshlands. At the mountain's base, lush water plants create a paradise for animals and plants. Knee-high ryegrass, waist-high pasture grass, and elephant grass growing as tall as trees. These are all favorites of herbivores. The clearing in front of the tribe's cave would be perfect for growing these pasture grasses. My rabbit-raising enterprise and these blue antelopes, who will soon become laborers, all depend on these grasses for sustenance. There are also water leeks and water celery. Taking some back could supplement our vitamin intake. In half an afternoon, I collect a bag full of grass seeds, tie it to a female antelope's back, and begin searching for dinner. Soon, a thunder goose with a 5-meter wingspan falls from the sky, struck by 2 of my arrows. I pluck every feather suitable for arrow fletching. I plan to roast the entire bird to replenish the nearly depleted dried hare meat in my basket. But as I crouch by the water's edge butchering the goose, an unexpected discovery nearly moves me to tears. In the bird's stomach, I find undigested rice grains. Moreover, this rice is completely unfamiliar to me. Each grain is larger than a mung bean. This is the first grain crop I've discovered in this world. My immediate thought, I must find it. That night, I don't rest. I gather tree branches and begin urgently crafting equipment for entering the marsh. I must harvest that rice before the animals do. Early the next morning, I carry my simple dugout canoe, find a spot with slightly deeper water, and paddle toward the depths of the marshlands. Meanwhile, in the shadow forest, Timber leads his tribe members in catching giant hares. To meet the needs of both me and their own tribe, the entire tribe works around the clock, leaving only the elder and children under 6 to watch the camp. To increase yields, he even resorts to aggressive methods. Upon finding a hare burrow, they dig it out directly. If the hares won't emerge, they use fire and smoke. This method proves effective. He catches quite a few, including several litters of newborn hares. However, this hunting method brings disaster to their tribe. In this season, every tribe must store store food. The cannibal tribe is no exception. Their food source is humans. Anyone who falls into their hands faces one of two fates. Men get eaten to fill stomachs, while women are kept for breeding or labor. On the day I ventured deep into the marshlands, a cannibal tribe hunting party is drawn by the fire from Timber's hair-smoking operation. This squad consists entirely of adult males, numbering 40 strong. Their weapons are all stone axes and wooden spears, making them formidable fighters, especially the two leaders, who actually ride two young mammoth calves. Compared to them, the Tree Hollow tribe is outnumbered, even when counting all men, women, and children. Facing such a powerful enemy, Timber leads his people in immediate retreat. The cannibal tribe pursues relentlessly. Fortunately, Timber knows the terrain well. He deliberately chooses difficult paths to escape. The enemies can't catch up immediately. Still, some fall behind. A young girl gathering mushrooms trips on a tree root in her panic. Just as she rises, a flying axe strikes her back. Immediately after, pursuing enemies spear her to death. A group of savage cannibals laughs as they surround her and begin drinking her blood. Timber's teeth grind audibly, but he doesn't stop. He knows that even if the entire tribe fights together, they'd only be slaughtered. The death of the young girl finally slows the enemy's pursuit. Timber rushes back to the tribe and tells Elder Bark about the situation. The enemy is too powerful to defeat. Migration is their only option. Elder Bark makes the final decision. Timber will lead the tribe members east through the Shadow Forest to find me. After all, judging from my weapons, my tribe must be very powerful. Elder Bark himself will stay behind to delay the enemy. After all, he can't walk far anyway. Timber suppresses his grief, nods firmly, and hurriedly has everyone gather their belongings before heading east. In truth, he feels uncertain. I left several days ago. Where I am now, whether I'm even still alive, Timber knows none of this. But if they don't leave now, they can only wait for death. He has no choice. Before long, the pursuing enemies find their tribe. The tree hollow they've inhabited for generations has become a sea of flames. Elder Bark set the fire, hoping to burn a few invading enemies and buy everyone some time. After this disaster, the tree hollow tribe, which numbered only 32, now has only 30 survivors. The group travels dejectedly, rushing toward the eastern edge of the Shadow Forest without rest. Originally, Timber didn't hold much hope of finding me, but when he sees freshly cut branches inserted in the ground along the way, hope returns immediately. In just a day and a half, they reach the forest's outer edge. When they emerge, evening has arrived. Under the setting sun's glow, the sky turns crimson. The Tree Hollow tribe members immediately become captivated by the scene before them. This is their first time seeing the world outside, but Timber keeps frowning. My markers end here. He doesn't know where to search. Just as he feels lost, he suddenly notices signs of a fire by the stream. Moving closer, he sees numerous animal tracks in the soft mud, including the distinctive boot prints of my strange footwear. Timber breathes a sigh of relief. He knows I must be nearby, so he has all tribe members camp here for the night first. While Timber leads his people in their desperate flight, I carefully search the marsh depths. Finding rice among the dense reeds isn't easy. Suddenly, my eyes light up as an idea strikes. Waterbirds love eating this rice. I just need to search where waterbirds gather. With this thought, I immediately act. While paddling the dugout canoe, I vigorously strike the water surface with a wooden stick. Suddenly, from the nearby reed beds, a flock of waterbirds takes flight with a great flapping sound. I paddle quickly in the direction the startled birds came from. As the distance decreases, a small patch of rice-bearing stalks gradually appears before me. My eyes suddenly blaze with light, joy rising in my heart. This is the wild rice I've been searching for. Immediately, I paddle even more vigorously toward that shallow wetland. But just as my small boat nears its destination, human shouts suddenly sound from behind. Following the sound, I look back to see several naked primitive people floating on the water surface, clutching driftwood logs, waving at me and continuously calling out. Their expressions show urgency. These people belong to the marsh tribe living in this wetland. This tribe's population numbers only about 50%. At this moment, they're gathering their winter food supply, water chestnuts, suddenly seeing a fellow human sitting in a mysterious object floating on water, slowly drifting toward what their elder calls the Forbidden Death Zone. Out of goodwill, the marsh tribe gathering team leader, Willow, frantically shouts at me, hoping I won't continue in that direction. Unfortunately, I can't understand their language. I just stare at them, bewildered. Seeing I show no response, Willow immediately swims toward me. While I'm still confused, Willow has already reached my boat's side. She points at the reed bed where much rice grows, shouting continuously. Her expression shows both anxiety and fear. Seeing the woman means no harm, I relax. However, judging by her expression, she seems to be warning me of danger there. I gesture, mimicking a wild beast's movements, make an animal sound, then point at the reed bed. Willow shakes her head. She points at me, then at that patch of ground. Then she places her hand on the water surface and makes a slow sinking motion, indicating I'll sink if I go there. I understand Willow's meaning and feel relieved. I appreciate her kind warning. However, I've made thorough preparations. There's no reason to give up now, so I paddle forward, heading resolutely toward the reed bed. Willow immediately shouts frantically at me again, but she doesn't swim any closer. The next moment, she stands utterly amazed. I tie two board-like objects to the bottom of my feet, then hold a large square wicker shield as big as a person. Just like that, I step calmly onto the Forbidden Death Zone without sinking. Everyone who witnesses this scene gasps in amazement. They've never seen anyone walk on the death zone without sinking. But I, who appear relaxed, am not as comfortable as they imagine. Beneath the reeds lies pure mud. My mud walkers sink into it. Each step requires tremendous effort to lift my feet. With tremendous effort, I finally reach that small patch of rice. These rice plants each stand about 2 meters tall. Each stalk bears plump, golden rice ears. Taking out the hide sack I prepared earlier, I begin stripping frantically, not stopping until I've stripped every rice plant bare. Only then do I stop. Bringing 2 full bags of wild rice back to the small boat, I happily prepare to paddle home and begin my agricultural era. But unexpectedly, Unexpectedly, just after paddling a short distance, marsh tribe members surround me. The group sees the 2 heavy bags on my raft, yet it still floats on the water surface. Their eyes immediately light up. So this floating thing can not only carry people, but also cargo. Several clever individuals immediately imagine themselves paddling this small boat to gather water chestnuts. I look at the people before me and feel somewhat annoyed. However, seeing they apparently mean no harm, I don't get angry. Willow notices my barely suppressed anger and quickly gestures while asking if I can teach them how to make this thing. Looking around at the circle of people soaking in the water, their skin somewhat swollen, and remembering they kindly warned me earlier, I readily agree. I gesture for them to gather everyone's driftwood logs together in a row. I also collect some reeds to use as grass rope and bind all the driftwood together. Then I have Willow climb on. Sure enough, after Willow climbs aboard, the log raft still steadily supports her on the water surface. Willow immediately becomes excited and quickly calls tribe members to try it together. Unfortunately, this log raft can only seat 2 people. Adding a third would probably capsize it. Those who can't get on the raft feel somewhat envious of Willow sitting on it. However, Willow is exceptionally happy because she knows this method is simple to make, and these materials are readily available in their tribe. Thinking of this, Willow looks at me gratefully and warmly invites me to visit the marsh tribe as a guest, but I don't accept. Outside the marshland, a herd of blue antelope still awaits me. Willow doesn't insist. She casually hands me a giant water chestnut the size of an egg as a token, agreeing that if I encounter difficulties in the future, I can bring this water chestnut to the marsh tribe for help. I accept the water chestnut with a smile. Without rest, I bring the 2 bags of rice seeds back to the grassland at the foot of Rainbow Ridge. During this day's emergency harvest, I obtain approximately 60 pounds of grain, but I can't bear to eat a single kernel. I just want to rush these treasures home and plant them during next year's spring plowing. However, since I'm going to farm, agricultural tools are essential, so I need to gather more copper and tin ore to return and smelt some farming tools. On the evening when Timber exits the shadow forest, I sit on the small grassland on the other side of Rainbow Ridge, eating fatty roasted beaver while weaving large baskets, preparing for the next day's mining work. But Timber on the western side of Rainbow Ridge faces a grim situation. When they fled, they didn't bring fire supplies. For the past 2 days, they've only gnawed on dried meat. At night, cold and hungry, they can only huddle together for warmth. The next morning at dawn, I energetically lead the blue antelopes toward the western side of Rainbow Ridge. At the western base of Rainbow Ridge, Timber is distributing freshly gathered wild fruit to tribe members. Just then, several tribe members excitedly point at Rainbow Ridge, shouting. In the distance, they see a young man on the bare stone mountain, slowly leading a group of 4-legged beasts forward. I also hear the shouting from below the mountain. Following the sound, I spot the Tree Hollow tribe by the stream, wondering why they've come. After over 10 minutes, Timber leads the group climbing up the slope. Seeing their condition, I can't help but frown. Why did they bring even the children? And they're all filthy. Seeing me again, Timber feels utterly awestruck. He knew I came to find horned animals, but he never imagined I'd actually catch them, and alive at that. This clearly surpasses anything those few cannibal warriors riding mammoth calves could achieve. At this moment, I seem like a deity in Timber's eyes. I see each person holding only a single wild fruit, clearly unable to eat meat. I quickly take out the unfinished thunder goose and roasted beaver to share with them. Timber crouches by the fire, eating while recounting the past few days' experiences. Other tribe members also chime in, gesturing and supplementing the story. After I understand, I can't help but gasp. There are actually cannibals nearby. Suddenly, a terrifying thought appears in my mind. If the cannibals have already reached the Tree Hollow tribe, how far can they be from my own tribe? With this thought, I immediately decide to finish gathering all the ore today and head straight back tomorrow. Then I look at Timber and ask what they plan to do next. Hearing this, everyone from the Tree Hollow tribe lowers their heads, not knowing how to answer. Winter approaches, but their tribe has been burned down. Moreover, the cannibal tribe pursues them relentlessly. They don't know where to find shelter next. Seeing this, I directly extend an invitation. Why don't you join my tribe? We have enough stored food for all of us to eat through the entire winter. Hearing this, Timber's eyes immediately brighten. He completely believes what I say. Just this herd of 4-legged beasts alone would feed everyone for an entire winter. The other Tree Hollow tribe members also want to accept. They've seen how formidable my bow and arrows are. With such weapons, they'd never lack prey and would never be bullied by enemies. So they all stare at Timber hopefully, wishing their chief would agree. Timber is already tempted. However, as chief, he needs to be more cautious. After hesitating briefly, he still asks the question, "You're inviting us to join your tribe. Will your chief agree?" Hearing this, I immediately laugh. "You don't need to worry about that because I am the chief." Hearing this, Timber looks utterly incredulous. I, young boy, am actually the chief, but thinking about it briefly, he accepts it. He's witnessed my abilities. The things I've accomplished, even an adult might not achieve. Thinking this through, he no longer hesitates and decisively agrees. To completely dispel their concerns, I directly hand my bone spear to Timber, give my stone axe to a man named Basin, and give the wicker shield I wove while harvesting rice to a tribe member named Stump. I know very well that as long as I'm willing to give them weapons, they'll understand I mean them no harm. Sure enough, the moment they take the weapons, smiles break across their faces. Timber also brings out the rabbits I asked him to capture alive, more than 30 of them, big and small. Seeing this, I can barely contain my excitement. With rabbits breeding a new litter every 2 months, my people will never have to worry about hides again. After breakfast, Timber assumes we'll leave immediately, but to his surprise, I start digging up rocks on the mountain instead. He asks what I need them for. With these rocks, I can make better weapons. And with better weapons, we'll hunt so much food we couldn't finish it in 3 meals a day. Timber is completely stunned. This is a life they've never experienced before. Without me even even asking, everyone volunteers to help dig. With dozens of hands working, the excavation speeds up considerably. By noon, we filled all the large baskets. This haul includes several key materials, copper-rich malachite and selenium ore, along with plenty of red termite mound clay and kaolin for making crucibles and casting molds. Soon, everything is packed, and I lead the group of dozens on our journey. Each blue antelope carries 2 woven baskets of varying sizes, loaded with ore, fodder, rabbits, and seeds. We don't move fast. As we walk, I teach Timber and his people how to use the weapons I've given them. By nightfall, we find a wide clearing and stop for dinner and rest. The first half of the night passes quietly, with only the crackling of campfires breaking the silence. But in the second half, as I lie on the ground, I suddenly feel vibrations. Something massive is moving. I instantly recall Timber's mention of those long-nosed beasts. I immediately wake everyone, kicking and pulling them up, and order all fires extinguished. 2 shrill yet juvenile trumpeting calls pierce the air. 2 enormous silhouettes suddenly appear in the distant firelight. Then I see dozens of figures holding torches and weapons, necklaces made of human bones hanging from their necks. The leader on elephant back waves his hand, and the whole group charges toward us with savage intent. My past life's combat experience keeps me strangely calm. I quickly issue orders. Porter is to lead the group north on a detour to escape, while Timber, Basin, and Stump stay with me as rear guard. Though we're only 4, I quickly devise tactics based on both sides' equipment. The enemy has 2 men leading on young mammoths. They're neither fast nor agile. Their weapons are mostly stone axes and bone spears, throwable weapons with a range of maybe 50 to 60 meters at best. But my bow has an effective range of 100 meters against unarmored targets. As long as we maintain distance, I'm confident I can take them all down before they ever get in throwing range. Timber watches the enemy charge on mammoth back, growing nervous. The hand gripping his spear trembles slightly, but seeing me remain so calm beside him, he grits his teeth and forces himself steady. I count down the distance in my mind. 200 meters, 150, 100. I draw and release. Whoosh! The lead attacker drops instantly, my arrow punching clean through his chest. Seeing the wooden-tipped shaft protruding from their comrade's back, the surrounding enemies freeze for a moment. But in that moment of hesitation, whoosh, whoosh, 2 more arrows fly. 2 more men fall. The mammoth riding captain spots me in the distance. He roars, ordering his men to charge and throw a volley of stone axes first. I immediately pull Timber behind a tree. Basin copies us, taking cover, but Stump takes a different approach. He drops into a crouch and angles his wicker shield to cover his body. Thud, thud, thud! Several stone axes and a bone spear slam into the shield. Fortunately, the shield is woven from thick vines, so Stump isn't hurt, but at this rate of bombardment, it won't last many more hits. Basin, hiding behind his tree, sees stone axes scattered on the ground. He quickly grabs 2 and hurls them back. In the densely packed charge formation, 2 enemies are struck down instantly. Timber, as a former tribal chief himself, refuses to be outdone. He picks up a bone spear and throws it back. 1 enemy is pinned diagonally to the ground, clearly dead. I immediately call for everyone to run. We need to maintain distance and keep fighting. This cycle repeats. The enemy force, originally 40 strong, is now down to just 7. The rest are either dead or wounded. Suddenly, I call a halt. We stop about 80 meters from the enemy and stand our ground, meeting their eyes. The mammoth riding leader looks puzzled, seeing us stop running. With only a handful of men left, all half dead from exhaustion, rage overtakes him. He charges again. I steady my breathing and raise my bow, waiting until he's about 70 meters away before releasing. The arrow strikes his right eye. Ah! He tumbles from the mammoth's back and gets trampled by the beast's rear leg. He's instantly dead. The young mammoth suddenly feels something soft under its foot. It looks back and freezes in place, completely distraught. The remaining lackeys are confused. How did their leader just die? But they keep charging forward. I immediately order a counterattack. 3 bone spears and 1 arrow fly simultaneously. 3 more enemies drop instantly. Now only 3 remain alive. Terrified, they turn and flee. The one riding the other mammoth tries to turn the beast around, then realizes it's too slow and jumps off. I loose another arrow. Before he even hits the ground, it pierces his chest. He staggers a few steps and collapses. Timber and his 2 companions rush past me. 3 stone axes whistle through the air, taking down the last 2 enemies. And with that, this jungle pursuit and guerrilla battle finally ends. Timber and his 2 men can't believe it. Just the 4 of us defeated a force of 40, plus captured those 2 young mammoths. The beasts, having lost their handlers, now stand there looking utterly lost. I issue new orders. Stump waits here. Basin goes to bring our people back. Timber comes with me to finish off anyone who isn't quite dead yet. The 3 acknowledge and split up. I retrieve my arrows and collect the intact bone spears and stone axes. But then those 2 unattended mammoths start following me, occasionally nudging my back with their trunks. It seems they want to stick with me. I hurriedly push their trunks away. Don't follow me. I can't afford to feed you. After all, these are true mammoths. As adults, they'll weigh around 15 tons each. How much would creatures like that eat every day? Just then, Timber frowns and tells me something troubling. We've only found 36 bodies along this route. That's 4 less than the original 40. An uneasy feeling washes over me, but in such a vast shadow forest, there's no way to search further now. I have to let it go. By dawn, Stump and Basin finally bring everyone back. When we all sit down for breakfast, I have Timber distribute the captured stone spears and axes to everyone. Now, except for the children, every person has a weapon for self-defense. The blue antelopes and rabbits are still eating the fodder we brought, but now 2 unexpected giants have shown up to mooch food, and the grass that should have lasted 2 more meals is suddenly gone. My head starts to ache. I raise my fist, about to drive these 2 freeloaders away, but the moment I lift my hand, one of the young mammoths looks at me with the most pitiful eyes, on the verge of tears. The other actually uses its trunk to grab a handful of grass and offers it to me, as if saying, "Here, have some of this good stuff. Just don't send us away." I force an ugly smile and reluctantly take the grass, stuffing it back into its mouth. Then I grab 2 more bundles for them to eat slowly. I wait for everyone to quickly pack up and move out. After we've traveled far, I look back and see the 2 mammoths still munching grass. I breathe a sigh of relief. Finally lost them. Since the Tree Hollow people have always lived deep in the shadow forest, they never knew the sunlit world outside could be so beautiful. Throughout the journey, they're thrilled, constantly startling pheasants foraging on the ground. I casually shoot them down with arrows. By evening, we've gathered quite a haul. Meanwhile, little Sprout is by the riverside with his mother, mother, finishing up their fishing work. He keeps glancing north. His mother told him that's the direction I left from. Ever since I departed, he's come to the river with his mother every day, waiting for me to return. Suddenly, he spots several figures emerging from the distant tree line. Sharp-eyed Sprout recognizes the person in front immediately. It's his tribe's chief. He jumps up excitedly, shouting, "Mom, the chief is back!" Hearing the commotion in the distance, I happily wave and shout back. But then two resonant trumpeting calls echo from across the river, drawing everyone's attention. Hearing that sound, 1,000 curses run through my mind. After walking so far, we still haven't lost those two mammoths. I silently pray, please don't come over. Please don't come over. But of course, what I fear most is exactly what happens. Splash, splash. Both mammoths plunge into the river. In less than half a minute, they're standing right in front of me, dripping wet. And those two don't play fair. The moment they reach my side, they spray me with the water they just sucked into their trunks, turning me into a dripping mess. The message is clear. That's what I get for abandoning them. I wipe the water off my face helplessly. If you want to eat my tribe's food, you'll have to work for it. I'm not running a charity here. Hearing this, the two mammoths pat my head with their trunks. I have no idea what that's supposed to mean. The women from the fishing group are startled by the two giant beasts, but seeing how familiar they seem with me, their expressions quickly turn to admiration. The chief is amazing. Even such huge monsters obey him. Sprout is the first to run over, hugging my leg affectionately, completely unfazed by the giants nearby. I tell them the newcomers are all joining our tribe, then lead everyone back to the cave together. Little Sprout gets placed on one of the mammoth's backs, looking incredibly proud the whole way. As we travel, the Tree Hollow people and the fishing group keep sizing each other up. The fishing group mostly stares at those 18 blue antelopes, while Timber's people observe the Riverstone women, their hairstyles, leather boots, the fish in their baskets, and the white shaft spears each one carries. Those white shaft spears are Timber's favorite. The fact that every woman has one makes him deeply envious. Realizing he's now part of the Riverstone tribe fills him with quiet excitement. When I bring the Tree Hollow people back to the Riverstone tribe, everyone greets me with a unified shout, "Chief!" The Tree Hollow people's attention is instantly drawn to this. When they see the scene before them, they're all stunned. Beautiful jars and pots everywhere, countless fish piled at the cave entrance, and a thunder boar carcass riddled with a dozen holes, weighing at least 1,000 pounds. I feel quite pleased. Clearly, the hunting party has learned to use spears effectively. Timber finally grasps the full extent of the Riverstone tribe's strength. Now he truly believes that here, no one will ever go hungry again. The children are standing on a grass mountain nearby, facing off with the newly arrived four-legged beasts. That's the grass they've been gathering these past days. Judging by the size of the pile, it should be enough to feed the blue antelopes and these two mammoths all winter. I quickly tell everyone that these four-legged creatures are domesticated and will help with work in the future. Not far away, in an open area, a large pile of red bricks has accumulated. Flint reports to me that he's been firing 4 kilns daily. He's also made a tool for the children, and proudly shows it to me. When I see what Flint has made, I'm absolutely shocked. It's a simple wooden rake. This guy has real potential as an inventor. After praising Flint, I tell him he can stop making bricks tomorrow and fire another batch of pottery for the new tribe members instead. Speaking of pottery, Elder Horn mentions he has something to report. A few days ago, the Baldcap tribe from the west came to trade pottery again. This time they paid with plenty of salt crystals, enough for the Riverstone tribe to last a long time. After inspecting all the work, I make arrangements for the animals we brought back. The rabbits are placed in a corner of the cave. I build them an enclosure using stones and clay, just a temporary winter home. Among the 30+ rabbits, 3 are already pregnant. Shortly after being placed in the pen, they start pulling their own fur to make nests. The other rabbits, though only 1 or 2 months old, are already the size of melons. By next spring, they'll become new breeding machines. The baby mammoths don't need managing. They refuse to leave that grass mountain no matter what. The blue antelopes are tied to a tree not far from the cave entrance. Tomorrow I'll have people build them shelters. With everything arranged, dinner is almost ready. Before the meal, I hold a welcoming ceremony. The Tree Hollow people don't resist the top-knot tradition at all. In fact, they think binding their hair does look more spirited than having it loose. Today we hunted a giant boar, so tonight's blood pudding is definitely on the menu. Combined with wild vegetables, we fill several large pots. There's also the pheasants I shot today, made into chestnut braised chicken, plus a dozen fresh grilled fish. Everyone gets a sweet and sour fruit too. This hearty feast instantly brings the new and old tribe members closer together. Everyone chats and laughs, eating happily. After dinner, I ask the tribal elders to help the newcomers make leather boots and teach them how. Meanwhile, I grab a piece of charred wood and head to the cave wall, thinking while sketching. On the wall, I draw a terrain map of the area outside the cave, the stream, the forest, and some things that don't exist yet. I'm currently planning how to develop the land in front of the cave. This plot covers nearly 30,600 acres. If we planted it all with rice, the entire tribe could eat until they died and still not finish it. Of course, planting it all with rice is impossible. This land is currently all dry fields, but rice must be grown in paddies. Just converting these dry fields into paddies is a massive project. Then there's the housing issue. Adding the new members and recent newborns, the Riverstone tribe now has 97 people. The current cave is gradually becoming inadequate, so we'll eventually need to build houses on this land. Residential area, rice paddies, vegetable plots, livestock pens, warehouses, pastures, bronze smelting zone, lumber mill. So many facilities need to fit on this land. I must plan carefully. The first problem to solve is converting the fields to paddies. My simple plan: build a square fortress in the middle of the clearing, housing the residential area, livestock pens, warehouses, metal smelting zone, and lumber mill. The entire fortress should accommodate at least 5,000 people, built in phases over several years. Around this fortress, I'll dig a moat. The excavated soil can be used with clay bricks to build city walls, preventing giant beasts and hostile tribes from attacking. Then, centered on the moat, I'll dig an irrigation canal to divert the 8 or 9 meter wide stream from the east. Additional return channels will let the moat water flow back to the stream, creating a vast water network. Small ditches along this network will irrigate the entire plot. The planned width for both the moat and irrigation canal is 4 meters. The eastern stream is 8 to 9 meters wide. With the same water flow but half the channel width, the canal's flow rate will more than double. This makes it perfect for installing water wheels and similar hydraulic facilities. The specific plan, using the cave as the center line, measure 200 meters on each side for the fortress site. To avoid delaying next year's spring planting, phase 1 is digging the waterway from the stream to the moat, roughly 7 700 meters. The excavated soil will be fired directly into bricks for later city construction. Phase 2 is digging the moat itself, but that's not urgent, the cave is still habitable for now. Phase 3 is ramming the city walls. The planned dimensions are a trapezoid, 4 meters wide at the base, 2 meters at the top, 5 meters high, 4 gates, 1 on each side. Combined with the 4-meter wide moat outside, in this era, absolutely no one could breach it. Phase 4 is the 700-meter return canal. The excavated soil can be fired into small bricks for building houses and facilities inside the city. The entire project should take 3 years at most. Otherwise, I fear the cave won't accommodate everyone. The next morning, after all the tribe members emerge, I begin assigning work. There's a lot to do today. Food gathering is completely halted. The newcomers still don't have pottery, so Flint is assigned to continue firing ceramics. The children continue bundling grass, and they must follow my demonstration to tie it into bundles for easier storage and transport. Chirp, Skip, Reed, and Brooke. These 4 go to the back mountain to cut down all the devil thorn saplings for making spears. The women are divided into 2 teams. The larger group heads to the valley I visited before to harvest sisal. Porter leads 6 blue antelopes loaded with large baskets for transport. The smaller gathering group scrapes bark from wax trees in the forest. The secretions from wax insects on them are excellent wax-making material. I'll use insect wax for casting bronze molds. All the remaining men are assigned to logging. First, cut trees about as thick as a leg for building livestock pens. All branches get split into firewood. I'll use them to make charcoal. The more the better for copper smelting. Transportation is still handled by the blue antelopes. If they can't pull it, we'll get the baby mammoths to help. The tribe members don't understand these assignments. They think autumn should be for storing food, but I tell them we already have enough food stored to last until next spring, especially fish. Many of the ones we've caught recently have eggs in their bellies. If we keep fishing like this, the river's fish population will definitely decline. So we need to let these fish rest and recover. After everyone leaves for work, I start my own tasks. First, I make some charcoal from available firewood. Then, using the kaolin and shale clay we brought back, I create several crucibles and ladles for refining and making alloys. Next, I use mixed refractory clay to make square molds, which will cast copper and tin into chocolate bar-like ingots. When needed, I can adjust the copper-tin ratio to make tools for different purposes. Once the charcoal and molds are ready, I start building the smelting furnace. I mix ordinary clay with pottery shards and chopped grass to make mud, then stack it into cylindrical earthen furnaces about 40 centimeters in diameter. I make 4 furnaces like this. When they all fire together, it'll save considerable time. Next, I use python skin to make simple leather bellows. Flint doesn't know what I'm up to, but he's quite curious to see what new thing I'll create this time. Once all my preparations are complete, the world's first primitive smelting equipment set is finished. I just need to wait until tomorrow for the charcoal to be ready and the furnaces to dry before starting operations. Chirp and Skip spend the whole day bringing back hundreds of white shafts suitable for making spears. But the adults doing the logging have it rough. Working themselves to exhaustion all day, they only manage to cut down less than 10 trees. 3 stone axes break in the process. Still, I tell them they need to continue tomorrow. However, whoever works best gets new equipment. Everyone is puzzled. Stone axes are already the best tools they've seen. What could possibly be better? Their curiosity grows. After dinner, everyone enjoys their recreational time, while I sit by the hearth melting wax. Once it solidifies, I carve it with my bone knife into different tool shapes. Then I tightly wrap these wax models in clay, leaving only a small opening. After the clay completely dries, I heat it over the fire and pour out the melted wax, creating a hollow clay casting mold. The thin layer of wax residue on the mold's inner wall will help with demolding after casting. Though tedious, this method is precise and doesn't waste material. The poured out wax can also be re-solidified and reused. Early the next morning, the tribe members lead away all the blue antelopes. After my persistent indoctrination, they finally understand that wild beasts aren't just for eating, they can also help humans work. Chirp and his 3 companions stay behind. Their task today is operating the bellows for me. Flint's pottery from yesterday is also fired and ready. Today he's specifically helping me. Flint is smart, so I plan to teach him the copper smelting method. I can't do this work alone forever. Better to find an apprentice. I walk to the 4 furnaces and light 2 of them simultaneously. Reed and Brooke pump the bellows. Chirp and Skip load charcoal and crush copper ore. Under the bellows' power, flames shoot high from the furnace mouths. Soon, the ore in the furnace chambers begins to melt. Copper water flows through gaps to the bottom of the chamber, pooling together into a lump of copper mixed with slag. The tin ore we're also smelting works even faster. Under intense heat, it melts in just minutes. I use tree branches to scrape 2 metal lumps mixed with many impurities from the ash beneath the furnace chamber. Then I continue the process repeatedly. After about 3 or 4 hours, I've finally accumulated a pile of impure copper and tin lumps. I light the remaining 2 furnaces. Once the temperature rises, I place the crude copper and tin in separate crucibles. After both metals melt into liquid form, I use clay ladles to skim off the surface impurities. Then, using pre-prepared clay jars, I pour the pure copper liquid into grid-shaped clay molds to cool. The tin liquid follows the same process. Flint and the 4 young helpers watch the metal liquid slowly solidify. Not understanding the principles behind it, they're amazed. Once the copper and tin ingots are cool enough to handle, I can't wait to remove them from the molds. It's now midday. Under the sunlight, the metal ingots reflect dazzling light. Everyone's mouths drop open staring at the metal. They've never seen anything so beautiful and shiny before. Even little Sprout, who is playing nearby, is drawn over. He touches this one, looks at that one. Chief, what is this? I ruffle his hair. This is called copper. This is tin. You watch these. I'm going to get something. Sprout nods and quietly repeats the words copper and tin with Flint and the others. Meanwhile, I haul over a pile of tool casting molds and immediately begin bronze casting work. I place copper and tin blocks in a new crucible according to ratio. After they melt into liquid, I stir them thoroughly with a clay rod. Then I can cast. The first wave of casting is axes and hammers. The scalding alloy solution pours into the molds. White smoke immediately rises from the reserved holes in the casting molds. Once the temperature drops slightly, I can't wait to smash open the mold with a stone. Among the clay fragments, a large axe head gleaming with pale golden light lies quietly inside. The axe head is slightly larger than a fire axe head. I assign the blade sharpening work to Flint and begin preparing other tool castings, rulers and saws, carving knives and chisels, planes and hand drills, plus diamond-shaped spearheads. By evening, when all the tribe tribe members return, all work stops. The golden axe head has been sharpened to a razor-sharp gleam. Mounted on a handle, the world's first bronze axe is complete. There are also 2 saws fitted with wooden handles. One for single-person use, one for 2. Timber and his people see the gleaming golden axe and immediately crowd around, their eyes practically glued to it. And there's this. I smile and pull out a spear with a 100-cent spearhead. The tribe members' eyes go wide. This is still a spear? It's so beautiful. Especially Fang and Scar. Seeing this golden-headed spear, they're practically drooling. Chief, do we get some too? The tribe members ask eagerly. I smile and hand Timber a piece of copper ore. It's made from this kind of rock. We just don't have any more right now. The Tree Hollow people are stunned. They helped dig this very rock and never imagined it could make such beautiful weapons. Porter, the most honest and direct, says, if we're out, we'll just dig more. We know where it is. I nod and tell them, digging like that is too inefficient. We need to make some things first. After this winter, we can bring back a lot. Then everyone will have a spear like this. Next, I teach them to use the saws. 2 people pull the large saw across the end of a log, moving back and forth. Before long, they cut off a round wooden disc. Using the one-handed saw to clear branches, they cut off a wrist-thick side branch in under a minute. The meter-long large axe is also easy to use, allowing full-body strength when swinging. If Ox from the Riverstone tribe used it, he could fell a leg-thick tree in just a few chops. Once everyone learns how to use these tools, I tell them to go eat and rest. After dinner, the tribe members gather around Flint listening to him describe the copper smelting process. Meanwhile, I begin establishing various measurement units. Once we have standardized measurements, civilization can gradually develop. All the sisal has been collected now. The women are concentrating on braiding rope. The children are all lying outside the rabbit pen watching the rabbits give birth. All 3 pregnant does have delivered. Each litter has 6 or 7 babies. The rabbit population of 30 plus has nearly doubled. With his long pottery making experience, Flint can now handle carving wax models for me. Original copper shovels, useful for both digging canals and farming. With my sample to reference, Flint can manage copying the design. After finishing my own tasks, I now research the most crucial item, the plow. I plan to make 2 sizes, large ones for the mammoths, small ones for the antelopes. They'll be useful for both plowing fields and digging canals. The next day, some women braid hemp rope while others clear the ground, preparing to build livestock pens. For copper smelting, Flint and his 4 young companions are now sufficient. The 5 of them continuously cast copper and tin ingots, asking me whenever something's unclear. After the women finish clearing, I lead them in building the livestock pen. We cut the felled trees into 4-meter lengths for posts, inserting one every 2 meters to form a rectangular enclosure. We bind 2 horizontal beams in the gaps for stability, then weave branches into fencing and secure it to the wooden frame. Finally, we plaster it with a layer of mud, and we're done. Inside the pen is a 4-meter high wooden shelter, the baby mammoth's little home. Once everything's built, we bundle all the grass from the outside pile and store it in the pen, preventing other animals or people from destroying it. The Riverstone tribe members each handle their tasks, bustling with activity. Little do they know, the Baldcap tribe has already set their sights on the Riverstone tribe. Recently, Chief Baldcap has had a persistent worry. As the weather grows colder, the mountain spring his tribe depends on will soon freeze. Then they'll have to haul water from the stream 3 kilometers away, requiring a large number of containers for water storage. That's why he personally came to trade with the Riverstone tribe last time, hoping to exchange for more pottery. Unfortunately, he didn't get what he wanted, so he hatched a plan to take by force. In Baldcap's view, the Riverstone tribe has fewer than 10 adult men, while he has 15. Moreover, after leaving the Riverstone tribe last time, he crafted stone-tipped spears. He believes defeating us and stealing our pottery and food should be no problem. This morning, Baldcap leads all the adult men from his tribe, each carrying several spears, marching toward the Riverstone tribe in force. They plan to crush our hunting party in one strike, then raid our settlement for a good haul. Meanwhile, in the coniferous forest on the ridge, Timber, Fang, and the others are still logging. Today, they're working quickly. With 3 large axes and 2 long saws, they can process a clean log in roughly half an hour. And that's just one group speed. The logging team has 10 people total, divided into 3 groups, so basically every half hour, 3 trees fall simultaneously. The remaining person is Porter, responsible for transport. Right now, he's leading an antelope grazing near the logging team. Suddenly, from the mountain across the valley, a group of people rushes over, each holding a spear. Porter immediately shouts toward the ridge, then pulls the blue antelope and runs back. Hearing the shout, everyone immediately drops their work, grabs weapons, and prepares to fight. Baldcap leads his men in hot pursuit until reaching the ridge. Whoosh, whoosh, several breaking air sounds. 2 antelopes at the rear are struck by spears. They scream and collapse. The other 4, still tied to them, keep running wildly, dragging their 2 dead companions toward the Riverstone tribe's grass mountain. Seeing this, the Riverstone people pull stone axes from their belts and hurl them. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 3 enemies instantly drop dead. 2 more are wounded. Only 10 continue advancing. Baldcap is furious. He immediately orders another spear volley. But Timber's group hides behind trees. All the spears stick diagonally into the ground. Seeing this, Scar and the others flash out from behind trees again. 9 white shaft spears fly simultaneously. 4 more from Baldcap's tribe fall instantly. The others, frightened, hide behind trees. Scar's group also returns to cover, waiting for the enemy's next attack. But no sound comes. They don't know that Baldcap is already scared stiff. The enemy before him is too terrifying. Plus, he realizes the Riverstone tribe has more people than he expected, but his side is now down to just 8, including 2 wounded. Continuing to fight is impossible. He immediately leads the survivors fleeing toward the cave. Meanwhile, Little Sprout is pulling me toward the 2 mammoths, wanting me to name them. The larger one I name Ash, the smaller one, Bow. I'm about to say something when Ash, looking westward, suddenly trumpets loudly. Caught off guard, Little Sprout jumps in fright. I immediately look in that direction. 4 blue antelopes are dragging 2 dead companions toward us, their bodies bristling with several spears, but I don't see the logging team following behind. My heart skips a beat. I hurriedly order all tribe members to hide in the cave. Don't come out until I return. After arranging everything, I grab my bow and arrows and golden-headed spear, then mount Ash and head west. Bow immediately follows. Following the blood trail left by the blue antelopes, Ash carries me at a full gallop. Soon we enter the forest. Ahead, a group of people suddenly appears, the leaders carrying golden axes, clearly Timber and his team. I freeze for a moment. Why is everyone here and no no one's injured. Fang immediately brings the hunting party to my side and reports the entire situation. After hearing his account, I'm puzzled. Why would Baldcap attack our tribe? But regardless of the reason, anyone who dares harm my people must pay the price, even if they only killed antelopes. I immediately wave my spear. Follow me. I lead Timber and several logging team members toward Baldcap's tribe. Around 2 in the afternoon, we reach Baldcap's tribe, but the clearing at the cave entrance is completely empty. The cave entrance is blocked by a giant boulder, though a sizable gap remains. Several pairs of eyes peek out from inside. Baldcap is among them. What he feared most was that we'd come for revenge. And of course, what he feared is exactly what happens. We actually came, and with this kind of lineup. The leader holds a gleaming golden-headed spear, riding a long-nosed monster taller than a person. Baldcap feels nothing but regret. If only he'd known they were this powerful, why the hell did he even try? I notice the eyes peeking out from inside the cave. I immediately unsling my bow and knock an arrow. The next moment, a scream. Ah, Baldcap is shot through the eye. Oxstone 6, go push that boulder aside. I point at the giant rock blocking the cave entrance, giving orders to the 3. They immediately step forward and start pushing. But even with 3 men exerting full force, they barely budge it. Instead, it slowly gets pushed back. The hell? Think hiding behind a door keeps you safe? I walk to the gap and knock another arrow. Behind the boulder, several adult men are desperately bracing against it. Whoosh! Another arrow. This time 2 men behind the door are pierced through. The others, terrified, run away and no longer dare stand at the entrance. Ox and the other 2 successfully push the boulder aside. Behind the boulder, the 3 bodies, not quite dead yet, are crushed into bloody pulp. In the blink of an eye, they're gone. The cave entrance stands wide open. Inside, dim yellow firelight flickers. A group of women and children huddle in a grass pile, trembling. 5 adult men remain. 3 holding spears stand in front of them, while 2 wounded men groan in the grass pile. I walk in holding my spear. Timber and the others follow closely with their golden axes. The 3 holding spears watch our menacing approach, their legs trembling uncontrollably. They babble frantically, seemingly begging for mercy. Who the hell begs for mercy while holding weapons? I swing my spear, knocking all 3 spears to the ground. One of the wounded men behind them quietly picks up a rock, apparently still wanting to resist. I instantly thrust my spear forward. Thunk. It punches a hole straight through his left chest. Everyone kneel, resist and die. My eyes flash. I suddenly roar. Everyone's legs immediately buckle, and they drop to their knees. Timber, go collect all their stored food and bring it back. Then I turn my gaze to the kneeling crowd. Your chief attacked us first, so you can't blame me. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't have fought you. My intention is to absorb these people, but to prevent them from harboring resentment, I'm pinning all the blame on their chief, but I've clearly overestimated their tribal loyalty. They don't care about their chief's fate. They only care that I'm taking their food. The women watch Timber's team carry away their stored dried meat, nearly in tears, desperately pleading with me. I look at these people coldly. As long as you join my tribe, you'll have endless food. No one will freeze to death in winter. Anyone willing to join us can stand behind me now. The moment I finish speaking, several people quickly rise and stand behind me. Slowly, a second, a third, a fourth. Soon, only 1 severely wounded man remains lying there. Judging by his condition, he probably won't survive. I don't intend to bother with him. I lead these new tribe members out of the cave and order Fang to burn it down. From this day forward, Baldcap and his tribe vanish from existence. After returning to the Riverstone tribe, the new members integrate smoothly. Several people in the tribe have been traded from Baldcap's group before, so they quickly blend in, and I haven't lied to them. The Riverstone tribe's food stores really are abundant. Adding what we seize this time, 200 people could eat all winter with no problem. The only issue is the cave has reached its population capacity limit. Fortunately, winter is coming, squeezing together will be warmer. What surprises these people is that the Riverstone tribe actually keeps wild beasts, especially massive creatures like Bow and Ash. This gives them a new appreciation for the Riverstone tribe's strength. Now they feel immense pride in becoming Riverstone tribe members. The women have been braiding rope these past days. The cave is now stacked with several large bundles. The men continue logging, trunks become building materials, branches become kiln firewood. I haven't been idle either. I've been making woodworking tools one by one, then casting 50 bronze shovels. With digging tools, my phase 1 irrigation canal project must begin. I grab a super long hemp rope the women braided to use as a measuring cord. First, I measure the fortress position due north of the cave. Then at the 4 corners of the site, I bury wooden posts as markers, determining the optimal canal route. Next comes building the brick kiln. Once canal digging starts, massive amounts of soil will be produced. So I plan to dig the canal and make brick mold simultaneously. Since I intend to fire gray bricks, and gray brick production requires large amounts of water, for easy water access I've chosen a kiln site by the stream. Flint fired many red bricks earlier. These bricks are perfect for building the kiln. The cylindrical brick kiln requires the entire tribe's labor force. It takes a full 5 days to complete. After spending more time making brick molds, the preparatory work is finally done. Now my giant plow, crafted over many days, finally makes its debut. Under the 2-meter wide wooden frame are mounted 4 bronze plowshares. Once pulled forward, it can plow a 2-meter wide swath of land in one pass, reaching 40 centimeters deep. The power source for this contraption, Bow and Ash of course, 2 giant plows side by side, pulling forward, directly turn over the entire 4-meter wide canal route. In less than an hour, the 2 beasts plow the 700-meter canal to a 40-centimeter depth. Seeing this, I'm absolutely thrilled. At this speed, maybe my fortress construction plan won't need 3 years after all. For brick firing, I plan to wait until winter. Then everyone will have free time, and winter kiln work will be nice and warm. A happy job. But right now there's a problem. These brick molds are all for wrapping the rammed earth city wall, so each brick is very large. This makes transporting clay material and brick molds extremely time-consuming. So I decide to immediately build a simple wheelbarrow. With a new project starting, finding helpers is priority 1. Later, they can become the tribe's professional carpenters. The most talented at carpentry in the Riverstone tribe is Basin. This guy, back in the Tree Hollow tribe, figured out how to burn out a bucket in a wooden stump using hot coals. The other is Honest Porter. He doesn't talk much, but he's extremely solid in his work. Drawing on my past life's memory of carts and modifying the design, the 3 of us spend a full day creating the first wheelbarrow. It's immediately deployed to the work crew. People are quite interested in this new transport tool. Compared to carrying on shoulders and hands, it's definitely less strenuous. But I'm not optimistic. I notice the wheelbarrow wobbles left and right when turning. At this rate, it'll definitely fall apart soon. Having identified the problem, I immediately start improvements, mainly extending the axle. After explaining to my two assistants, the three of us each work on our parts. The second iteration is much faster than the first build. 2 hours later, the second generation wheelbarrow is complete. This version no longer wobbles. Everyone's work efficiency immediately improves. So the second cart becomes the production model. We begin mass manufacturing. An initial run of 30 units. With men and women combined, we definitely have dozens of adult laborers. These wheelbarrows are specifically for hauling soil and will definitely see heavy use in the future. Over the following days, the carpenter trio produces wheelbarrows at a rate of 3 every 2 days, equipping the work crew. The Phase 1 irrigation canal progresses rapidly. The previously delayed brick-making work also speeds up thanks to the constant addition of wheelbarrows. By the 18th day of construction, a 700-meter-long, 4-meter-deep trench appears before me. I call a halt to canal digging. The remaining 2 meters will be opened when we need to channel the water. The tribe members return to their normal routines. Men continue logging, stockpiling for future construction. Women resume gathering food. They believe the more food, the better. The 30 wheelbarrows are also complete. To enable large-scale copper ore mining in the future, Basin and Porter are now designing large carts that antelopes can pull, under my guidance. With their previous 2 builds as experience, I explain the 4-wheeled cart design and let them figure it out themselves. Meanwhile, I spend my time crafting field plows. Everyone busily works on their tasks in an orderly fashion. One morning when I emerge from the cave, the first thing I see is a vast expanse of white. The long-awaited winter has finally arrived. Goose feather snowflakes keep falling. The sky hangs dark and gloomy. Who knows when it will stop? The men's logging work halts. Everyone huddles inside the cave. The women also stop clamoring to gather food. In this weather, brick firing is definitely out. We'll have to wait until the snow stops. So I launch my long-planned initiative, teaching everyone the common tongue and a writing system. Actually, the Riverstone tribe members have already picked up some basic vocabulary. Little Sprout especially can speak simple phrases now. This makes things easier. I just need to teach them more essential words and show them how to string sentences together. As for writing, teaching them simplified characters isn't realistic yet. The clerical script, being closer to pictographs, will be much easier for them to grasp. Whether they can write isn't that important. The key is they must recognize the characters. To boost everyone's learning enthusiasm, I establish a rule. Before dinner each day, I'll check everyone's progress. Those who can't recite get half rations. Those who excel get rewards. This strategy works perfectly. All tribe members become highly motivated, especially the children. After lessons, they spontaneously gather in small groups to practice. A few days later, the snow finally stops. The brick firing plan officially launches. After personally demonstrating 2 kilns, I turn the work over to the tribe members. They don't need to work every day, basically just when loading the kiln and removing finished bricks. The rest is firing and cooling time. Days pass like this, studying the common tongue and characters daily, moving bricks every few days. Ordinary, yet fulfilling. When not busy, people make ornamental accessories, mostly the men. Bone necklaces, feathers, all kinds of things. They pile them on generously. I don't quite understand, so Elderhorn explains, to prevent inbreeding and genetic degradation, many tribes gather in spring for a tribal gathering. If a woman likes a man, she'll follow him to his tribe. The standard for liking is whether you're strong enough, whether your tribe is powerful, and whether you have abundant food. These things can be observed from the bone ornaments a man wears. If you carry a particularly long thigh bone as a weapon, your tribe clearly has the strength to hunt large beasts, naturally indicating your tribe won't lack food. This gives me some inspiration. I seem to be missing something myself. I naturally have no interest in those bone necklaces. After some thought, I decide to create circlet-style accessories. Circlet materials are typically gold, silver, jade, or leather. Different people just need different materials. Since ancient times, gold has symbolized nobility. The Riverstone tribe has no gold, so my crown is made of open-work copper. Having changed my own, I can't leave my tribe members' heads bare, so I make Timber a silver-colored one from tin. Timber loves it. Under my guidance, the other adult men also create circlets from various materials: animal hide, wood, bone, all kinds, even hairpins. From now on, the Riverstone tribe has a new regulation. Children can only bind their hair or wear circlets but cannot use hairpins. Adult men can wear circlets and must use hairpins to distinguish adults from minors. Women also no longer wear only ponytails. Adult women must pin their hair up, using wooden combs or hairpins as ornaments. Underage girls can wear ponytails, loose hair, or braids, also using hairpins as decoration. Metal, being a strategic resource, can't be used for everyone's accessories, so I use metal ornaments as rewards, distributed to anyone who contributes to the tribe. Through this series of reforms, in the Riverstone tribe now, you can tell a person's identity, age group, and whether they've contributed to the tribe just by looking at their head. Sprout's circlet is also my creation, featuring a copper buckle with cloud patterns. I award it to him for learning characters fastest. He's the first child to own a metal accessory, making him extremely happy. Actually, I'm not working so hard on ornamental accessories just to distinguish tribal hierarchy. It's mainly for that tribal gathering. Not to find a match myself, but to meet people from other tribes and see if any trade is possible. Previously, the Riverstone tribe's salt all came from trading with Baldcap's tribe. But now Baldcap's tribe is gone. So until we find a salt mine, I want to find new sellers. The Riverstone tribe's pottery is quite valuable. I want to trade pottery not just for salt but also to buy population. Relying on these fewer than 200 people to reproduce naturally, I wouldn't fill one fortress in the next lifetime. However, not all tribes can be like the Riverstone tribe, never worrying about food, with leisure time to contemplate tribal development plans, like the Black Whisker tribe to the east of the Riverstone tribe. This is a medium-sized tribe with over 150 people. They differ from the Riverstone tribe in one major way. The Black Whisker tribe has its own faith. They worship the Black Rat and have a shaman who communicates with the divine, Matron Black Whisker, an elderly woman. This winter, she claims to have received divine guidance. She worries their stored food won't last until next spring, so she tells the chief to lead the hunting party out to find food. Thus, Chief Whisker of the Black Whisker tribe leads 19 men out hunting. Soon they discover something strange. At the western edge of the forest near their tribe, thick black smoke occasionally rises. That's definitely deliberately set by humans. But when did people settle to the west? Long ago, they walked to the western forest forest edge, but they couldn't cross that 8 or 9 meter wide river, so they never went that far again. Now, judging by the smoke's location, it's clearly near the river. Chief Whisker immediately reports this to Matron Black Whisker. She isn't particularly surprised. Instead, she's quite interested in why these people keep burning fires. In Matron Black Whisker's understanding, fire is for cooking food. If it were for warmth, why not keep it burning constantly? She is puzzled, so she tells Chief Whisker to take people and investigate. If possible, try trading with them. Maybe they can learn something too. So Chief Whisker leads his team out to accomplish this diplomatic mission. Meanwhile, at the Riverstone tribe, Basin and Six are guarding the brick kiln. Every so often they check the kiln fire and toss in firewood. The two have been firing since last night until this afternoon. The brick molds in the kiln have reached a blindingly red heat. It's time to flood and seal the kiln. Basin pats Six, signaling him to return to the cave and call for help. Six nods and heads straight for the cave without looking back. But during Basin's solo watch, Bao's roar suddenly thunders across the ground. Then comes the sound of Bao running, followed by human shouting. Basin hurriedly climbs up from the underground fire pit. The moment his head emerges, he sees a dozen spears whooshing toward Bao. Terrified, he takes off running straight for the cave. I'm just preparing to lead people to flood the brick kiln when, emerging from the cave, I witness this scene of Bao being chased and attacked. Chief Whisker and his men initially wanted to pursue, but suddenly see me leading a crowd out from the cave. They freeze instantly. What the hell? Who dares attack my Bao? Everyone grab your weapons. Hearing my order, tribe members immediately charge out roaring. 70 or 80 people, each holding weapons, instantly surround Chief Whisker's group. Chief Whisker's jaw drops. Before him, everyone looks fierce and menacing. The young man in front has a stern expression, wearing a golden crown and golden hairpin, holding a white shaft golden spear glaring at him. The formation behind is even more eye-blinding. Every person holds a gleaming bronze shovel. Never mind combat ability. This luxurious lineup alone is enough to terrify Chief Whisker's group into immobility. Bao, seeing I've controlled the situation, bounces back happily, standing behind me and roaring at Chief Whisker with borrowed authority. I pat his trunk, signaling him to quiet down, then turn to Chief Whisker. This mammoth is ours. Why did you attack him? Chief Whisker is somewhat dumbfounded, but seeing how familiar I am with this monster, he never imagined this neighboring tribe could control such a huge beast. What he imagines even less is that Ash, even larger than Bao, now also hears the commotion and runs over, standing beside Bao, curiously observing the surrounded group. Chief Whisker and his lackeys are scared stiff. Damn, there's another one. Seeing they all look utterly shocked, I frown and have Elderhorn go ask who they are and why they came here. Elderhorn walks up to Chief Whisker and, through a combination of words and gestures, translates what I said and introduces my identity as Chief. After hearing Elderhorn's words, Chief Whisker first apologizes profusely. He didn't know these monsters had owners, which is why he thought of hunting them for winter provisions. Finally, tearfully, he explains his purpose for coming. I didn't expect they actually wanted to come trade for food, but if they have something that interests me, trading isn't out of the question. So what do you have to exchange? Chief Whisker hesitates. Can we trade stone bowls? After all, his tribe has several, and stone bowls are essential items for every tribe. Before I can respond, Elderhorn already speaks up. We have plenty of pottery. If you want some, you can also trade for it. Salt and population both work. Now it's Chief Whisker's turn to be stunned. They actually have a lot of pottery and can trade it to us? Elderhorn, seeing Chief Whisker doesn't believe him, calls some children to bring out a set of pottery. In less than 2 minutes, the children haul out a water jar, a pot, and several bowls. Even more, several children watching the excitement stand at the cave entrance, slurping meat broth from their bowls. This leaves Chief Whisker dumbfounded. He's never smelled such a meaty aroma before. I have someone fill a bowl of broth for him. After all, if he hasn't tasted the broth, he won't know pottery's true value. Chief Whisker carefully takes the broth and, copying the children, takes a slurp. Instantly, warmth flows from his throat to his stomach. After a while, his whole body feels warm. This broth was specially made by me for warding off cold. There isn't much meat, but I added pig bones and chili peppers. On ordinary days, drinking a couple sips, so comfortable. Chief Whisker is completely won over by this broth's flavor. He immediately decides to trade population for clay pots. As for what salt is, he's never even heard of it. Elderhorn repeats the pottery trading prices from before. 1 clay pot for 2 underage boys or 1 adult woman. Chief Whisker finds this price acceptable, but he didn't bring any women or children on this trip. Yet he really wants to take a pot back. So he can only shamelessly ask if he can take the pot now and bring the people next time. Hearing this, I immediately refuse. Credit is impossible. Absolutely impossible in this lifetime. What if they default? I'd become the fool who got played. Seeing I won't agree, Chief Whisker immediately retrieves a bulging hide sack from one of his men and hands it to me. This contains food. Not much, but I hope you'll let us take a pottery bowl first. Next time we'll still trade people for this pottery. Like I'd need your little bit of food. I carelessly open the sack and glance inside dismissively. But the next moment, my eyes refuse to move. These are peanuts. My mind instantly races through countless peanut dishes, roasted peanuts, salt-boiled peanuts, fried peanuts, peanut butter. This is treasure. Besides high nutritional value, the key is it can be pressed for oil. Plant a huge field and we'll never lack cooking oil again. With oil and fat, I can make soap, candles, even explosives. So calling peanuts a strategic resource isn't an exaggeration. I suppress my excitement, holding back for quite a while before regaining composure. Where did you get these? Chief Whisker babbles and gestures. I finally understand. Their tribe's so-called deity is a black-furred rat, and the peanuts are dug from rat burrows. They know where to find burrows with peanut stashes, so peanuts aren't particularly precious in their tribe. I nod silently and casually pull out a large basket. A full basket of peanuts like this can also trade for pottery, but the shells must be undamaged. Chief Whisker can hardly believe I'd offer such favorable terms. He immediately agrees joyfully, promising to bring more next time. In the end, Chief Whisker takes away that large basket, plus a clay pot, a clay bowl, and a ladle I gifted him. Watching them depart, I suddenly feel a wave of fear. This time, we were actually ambushed by a strange tribe right at our cave entrance. Fortunately, their numbers weren't large. If they'd come specifically to attack the Riverstone tribe, even if we could hold them off, we'd probably suffer casualties. I'd previously planned defensive fortifications, but city walls that large, how could they be built just like that? During this defensive gap period, I must first create temporary defensive works to rely on. I first have Timber lead people to flood and seal the brick kiln. I stand at the cave entrance thinking. The kiln has been firing for 2 months now. We've accumulated massive amounts of finished bricks. Fortress construction won't start until next spring. So aren't these bricks just sitting idle right now? With this thought, a simple, quick defensive fortification appears in my mind. Early the next morning, I gather all the adults and tell them I'm going to use walls on 3 sides to surround the cave, leaving only a 2-meter wide gate on the east side. At the entrance, I'll use a 3-meter high stockade as the main gate, with 4 layers of spears bound side by side on the front. This simple defensive wall will be directly stacked from gray bricks. In such cold weather, I just need to pour water on the stacked brick wall for it to freeze together. When spring comes and the weather warms and thaws, these bricks can still be used for fortress construction without affecting their usability. Over the next several days, all adults work together. With wheelbarrows and so many tools, the wall height grows at a visible speed.